Old Levi.
James in between. And Scott and I are old dudes.
Exactly.
Nothing new. You know this.
Yes.
And what a way to start this episode off.
Scott and I are old, salty, Jim Cornette-esque.
That's right. God damn!
God damn!
What the hell is all of this?
Great fucking match.
Good. I don't have to do Terry Funk anymore. James can do it. Wonderful.
Speaking of Mussolini, that was a great fucking match, by the way. Too bad the rest of AEW didn't match up for that night.
Yep.
Anyways, welcome everybody to welcome to episode 93
Sex. Six-man tag.
Yeah. Episode 93 of the Shadow Kvlt podcast, and we got an extra man, so the typical gang, Ricky, Scott, James, myself, and Walter here, but we are joined by a very special guest, a good pal of Scott and Walter's. Please welcome Steve Mesa.
Yes.
Hello.
We got him back.
I heard the call. I heard the call, even though we don't want to invoke this because it involves a scumbag, certain scumbag here. But yeah, man, I heard the call that you needed a sixth person. I'm your sixth man, baby. I'm here to tag out. I'm here for the hot tag. I'm here to take down the heels. I'm here to take down some baby faces, some tweeners, and we're about to get it down. I'm here to rank some shit. So let's get this started. I can't wait.
Come on, baby!
baby!
So yeah, we have reached the conclusion of WrestleMania season for the Shadow Kvlt podcast. As in the previous weeks heading into this, we did what all did we do? Because now even I don't remember.
Best opening matches. We did WrestleMania 28, WrestleMania 4,
and then this.
And now here we are with worst main events in WrestleMania history, meaning the match that goes on last.
The closer, yes.
The closer. So there you go. And I actually, right before we went into the intro, I warned, especially Scott and Walter, because you're going to see some generational gaps here with some of these picks.
Lot. Yeah.
And I feel like, especially with about maybe two of these, I'm probably going to be killed.
We're waiting for Levi to do his famous fall on the bed.
Yeah, do the big bump.
Which I can't do anymore.
Oh, no, that's right. He just gets up and walks out now. He just stands by the doorway and bangs his head.
That's the new gag.
James is going to be chasing Levi before the night's over.
Oh, my God. That's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But I figured actually, before we get started with the list, kind of give us a little backstory about your experience with wrestling, Steve, since you are a newbie on the show.
Well, I am currently the WWE 2K King of the Ring champion. I am also a finalist for the WWE 2K Tournament of Champions. I am a very good 2K player, WWE game player, whatever you want to call it. Whatever system it was, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, Saturn, whatever you can call it. Tiger handheld games, I was a champion of. I currently am a camera person, cameraman, roaming camera, sometimes hard camera, often, rarely, but sometimes. And I am the current creator, mogul, president of a little thing called Mesa Media. That's right, Mesa Media. You heard about it. We are the only Florida-based wrestling production company that matters. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, since you're a 2K player, did you happen to know that when 2K14 came out, I was the one that won the WrestleMania contest for that game?
Very
me.
The gauntlet's coming down.
There we go.
I played Steve.
Yes, he did.
Well, it wasn't for a match. It was for like the snapshot, like the coolest snapshot in a match.
I watched it
twice. I think the one time I beat you was on a fluke. But yeah, Steve kicked my ass the rest of the way.
If you want to throw down on 2K22, I mean, I'm issuing the challenge here. So
I don't have the game yet.
Game on.
I don't have the game yet. I need to get a PS5 at some point just so I can play it. Or I might get it on Steam.
That's the first step.
What about Fire
Yes,
Pro,
fire.
Steve? I've been challenging you. Fire Pro for years.
Nah. I don't do that Fire Pro.
Oh, he can't do the Fire Pro. Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
legit, I
No,
have
it's okay. It's okay. You don't want to do the Fire Pro. It's okay. It's okay.
You're
We
letting
ain't
your
gonna judge.
brethren down by that. You're letting them down because that's their game.
Yeah, I know.
He just did Kermit. He just did Kermit the Frog right there.
I wish they had a better game going out, but that's a whole different ballpark of a conversation there. So that's what I'm saying. But that
Speaking of games, there'll be another topic of discussion after we do the top 10. We will get to, of course.
Yes, we had a lot to talk about.
Lots of stuff. Yes. Anyone got a belt cleaner? Anyone got any belt cleaner handy?
But with all that said, yeah.
Hashtag talk about it later.
Can you get Brazilian spunk out of a belt?
Oh my God.
Mostly get out of anything. I don't know you can get that out, man. It's gonna be a hard time.
If belts could talk.
If belts could talk, yes.
The big gold belt would have a memoir.
Those are baby faces right there. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hashtag talk about it later.
Oh God! No, never mind.
Yeah, moving on. We got to get to our top 10 here.
I lost you at Spunk. Anyways.
I usually lose that spunk too, but that's just me because I'm old.
But anyway, so yeah, top 10 worst WrestleMania main events. Now, unlike previous lists, I have no honorable mentions for this because I actually had a bit of a tough time trying to come up with this list because it's like the majority of WrestleMania main events are good matches to classics. So it's kind of hard. So I had to really get nitpicky on my list as to like. Now I will preface, not all the matches on my actual list are bad per se. It's just I had to make some choices. That's really what it all boiled down to. Like really, only 5 matches on this list are matches that I would consider bad.
I mean, I think like a lot of the top 10s we've had recently, I think a lot of us are gonna have like the same matches on here, just maybe in different positions, and so forth. So that's just gonna happen because, like you said, there's not a whole lot of bad WrestleMania matches. A lot of it is about personal preference. So
exactly,
yeah.
So I'll pass it on to James for the honorable mentions, if any.
I mean, I got a couple just based on the fact of really shouldn't have been those matches in particular. They could have been in a different place or a different match altogether. The 4-way from 2000 should have been Triple H and Rock 1-on-1. And then Triple H and Jericho should have been in the middle of the fucking card.
All right, Scott?
I don't have any honorable mentions either. Like you said, hard list to put together, so I don't even bother with that.
Ricky?
None. First time actually I don't have any honorable mentions. It was hard.
All right, Walter?
I got a few. I wouldn't call them honorable mentions, but these are going to be like, I guess you can call dishonorable mentions.
I was just about to say
these are matches that normally make the Smart Mark or the wrestling or Wrestle Culture list of worst WrestleMania matches. When in reality they have no business being. Okay. Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy, WrestleMania 2. Fuck you if you think that's a bad match. Great.
That was really freaking good.
Good storytelling. All right. A great
the lead up to that match was phenomenal. Oh my God, so much heat, so much drama.
For some reason, it's in the Smart Marks lists. Okay. Another one. You ready for this? This is probably gonna get mentioned more than once. Roman Reigns and Triple H, WrestleMania 34. Okay.
32.
32. Match.
No, the crowd was bad. Yeah, the crowd was bad.
Shit. The match was good. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, they couldn't do it. That was before Roman was cool and really to get into. Okay. And also, finally, this goes as a big fuck you to Dave Meltzer. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on.
What?
Yeah.
He gave it
my. No way.
And
It's
what-
one of
and
the most important matches ever.
of all
Yeah.
time. And what do we say to Dave Meltzer?
Fuck you. Again, these are matches that seem somehow make this list because the work rate wasn't really good, or
The work rate was horrible, and what a shitty slam.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. So,
Yeah.
and it's bad
like
for you.
JD from New York will tell you that match is JD from New York is a piece of garbage anyway. So
Yeah.
he belongs in the trash.
So
those are my
do you
honorable
have
mentions.
any?
I have no honorable mentions. Some of the ones that you guys mentioned will be on my list, so we're gonna
Same
it bears repeating, especially that Triple H Reigns match. I got more on that. I was part of the crowd.
That's right. Yes.
He was there.
I was there.
He was there. Yes. Yeah, Steve, if you're at the show, you just go, and I was there. Just do that.
I was there. I remember you were there. WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah.
WrestleMania
And then real quick before we move on, so far in the chat we got Russell Reeves and couple of my metal cohorts who are also big wrestling fans, Mean Metal Mike and Just Joshin. Mean Metal Mike's been mentioned a bunch of matches. This isn't worst WrestleMania matches; it's main events. We'll probably talk more about like the worst matches at WrestleMania period after this, and we can get into Taker, Bossman, and all that stuff. So
that's a whole new can of worms.
That's a whole different can of worms for sure. But without further ado, now into everybody's list. So my number 10, again, like I said, not all the matches I have on my list are bad. Hell, actually, this match I thought was decent. It's just I had to put it on the list just by default. Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7. Aha! So yeah, and really the principal reason why I have it on here is because, well, you look at the business of WrestleMania the year before at 6, which James covered recently on From the Vault, sold out the Sky Dome, and they were there for Hogan Warrior, nearly 70,000 people. You would have thought, well, if they're doing it in LA and they were going to do it at the Memorial Coliseum
there or whatever.
That they would have gotten over 100,000 people. But when they decided to do the whole Sergeant Slaughter pro-Iraqi character, and they thought, oh, this will get butts in the seats, couldn't even sell nearly 20,000 people.
It did get a lot of seats, a lot of empty seats.
Yeah.
Well, I think it did better than what the original plan was going to be.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's
Hogan
true.
and Tugboat.
Hogan and Tugboat.
That would have been even... they probably wouldn't have even sold 10,000 if that were...
Uncle Fred!
Uncle Fred.
You would have had a
Uncle
bunch of
Fred.
people dressing up as stadium seats. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
those are just empty seats.
Aw.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the... I mean, like I said,
thought they
the
moved-
match
I
itself...
thought they moved it because of the possible terrorists.
No.
That was the excuse they
Sure.
That was
gave.
their
Sure.
excuse.
That was
Sure,
bullshit.
Bruce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bruce.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
Dude,
the principal reason, like I said, the reason why it's on here was because of what it did business-wise, not that good, and also the build-up was just, the match itself was decent for what it was. It's just on the list just because...
It's forgettable.
But
I think that's maybe
forgettable.
that's another running theme with a lot of these matches. They're just forgettable matches. They don't get talked about. Nobody really cares about them, and for that, they're not good. So,
Yep.
And yeah.
James?
My number 10, it's unfortunate that this match took place in front of nobody but Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, 36 Night 2. Like, had this happened in front of a crowd, this wouldn't be on this list. But this was in front of nobody, 4.5 minutes of L1, 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 and it was just, let's just get the belt on Drew and go on from there. And that's what this was.
Lesnar was in a fuck this shit mood. He was done. From what I heard, he was in a pissed off mood backstage. He was angry at Vince. He didn't even want to be there. He thought it was a whole bad idea to begin with. So,
yep.
And I felt bad for Drew. And yeah,
his crowning achievement in front of nobody in a match that one person didn't want to be a part of.
Right.
So yeah, that's my number 10.
Yep.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, just same as you, Levi. Number 10 is Hogan Slaughter. Forgettable main event. The Hogan thing had run its course at this point. They tried Warrior, didn't work. Let's go back to what works because they didn't have anything else to go to. So, and Slaughter had a ton of heat, legit heat going into this match. But, the match was, a formulaic Hogan match. And for that, it's bland, it's forgettable, like I said. So it's really low on my list because of that fact too. It's just like, it's not great, it's not good, it's just there.
And to add on top of that, it had to follow the retirement match and the moment of Savage and Liz reuniting.
Yep. There you
that
go.
should have been the end of WrestleMania 7 in hindsight.
Hogan,
Very
they
true.
weren't going to close the show without
No. Hogan must close.
Hogan must close.
Close and pose.
Right, but in
pose.
hindsight, when you really think about it, like if you put that match in the middle of the show, it'd have been probably a lot more received.
And exactly what James just said is going to be another recurring theme, I think, with all of our choices.
For the most part, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky.
10, and I hate doing this. And again, nothing against this match, but the way that it just went down. Reigns Taker, WrestleMania 33.
8.
Now, I do like the moment of Taker, giving us that retirement, but I felt that at this time Taker was just a shadow of his former self. I mean, he wasn't in shape, even though he tried to be in shape. He just couldn't there. I felt that Taker just did it because he didn't want to upset the fans, of course, to put Reigns over, which, that helped Reigns in the long run. But with Taker this time, he was just like, he couldn't do it anymore. And that moment that he gave us at the end of WrestleMania was a good felt moment, but the match itself was not the best, not the worst. I had to put it on the list because, Taker was, he was what, 52?
Taker even called it a bad match.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a bad match, but I felt that it could have been.
His performance wasn't what he hoped it would be.
Yeah. If he was in shape like he did in WrestleMania 34 against Cena, that kind of shape
could have been really good. Yeah,
would have been really good. But
hence why that wasn't the end. Hence why we got the Cena match.
Yeah, I know. Right. Which thankfully to the documentary that we saw of Taker, he was like, "No, I'm not going that way. I need to go, the right way." Which thankfully he got against Cena, and then of course the
AJ
match.
And AJ the Boneyard.
That AJ match would probably be on the top 10 best WrestleMania events.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That'd be up there.
So that's my number 10.
Steve.
So I'm gonna pull out for number 10 just because it's by default, and there's like literally only 10, and we have mentioned Slaughter versus Hogan, Lesnar versus McIntyre. I consider Slaughter versus Hogan, classic USA versus Iraq, whatever. I did that. I put in probably one of the most forgettable main events. But I put it at number 10. Triple H versus John Cena at WrestleMania 26, I believe. Wait, is it 26?
22.
24. Wait, 22.
22 was it in Chicago?
Yeah.
Chicago.
Because that's when they turned Triple H babyface.
Exactly. The only memorable part about that was CM Punk being one of the gangsters.
Yeah.
After that,
there you go.
It did like Super Cena, and then you had Triple H trying to be the baby face just because of the fact that at this point Cena was not being rooted against, and he was going to get even more heat as the years passes by. But this was the start of people not liking him as a franchise player. I like I said, I can't remember besides the fact that Cena beat Triple H, and CM Punk was a gangster. Other than that, can hardly remember what happened. The fact that it's quite unmemorable is why I put this on my number 10.
Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before I give it, this is my criteria. I started off with, as you can see, these are matches that were good, but were outshined or had to follow something that was nearly impossible to follow. All the way going down to matches that were mundane or unmemorable, as Steve would put, to just plain bad. So number 10 definitely follows the criteria of, How the hell do we follow that? Triple H and Chris Jericho, WrestleMania 18. Not a bad match. If it was based on match quality, I wouldn't even put this match on the list because it's still a good match.
Yeah.
But it had to follow Hogan versus Brock, easily one of the best main events in WrestleMania and wrestling history. And he was there. So he could be a testament to how that crowd was shocked. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. And it's a recurring pattern we see every day. It's a recurring, or not every day. It's a recurring pattern we still continue to see. Most recent was AEW's last pay-per-view. How the fuck are Adam Cole and Adam Page going to follow CM Punk and MJF? With what
MJF.
They told a story.
Mm-hmm.
They told a bloody, brutal, violent story, and then Adam Cole and Adam Page had they had a Ring of Honor super match with 100 finishers and near kickouts, and it wasn't emotionally invested. So yeah, that was the problem with Triple H and Jericho. It had to follow Hogan versus Rock. So,
and really nobody cared about anything until Triple H pedigreed Stephanie.
Right, because that's what, as James pointed out in his review of the show, that really was the feud in this match. Jericho was secondary.
Yep.
Even a 747
looks small when you're flying it into the Grand Canyon.
Jericho was a dog walker in this feud.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
all right.
My number 9, so now we're into number 9, Undertaker Roman Reigns at 33. Again, not really a bad match, even though Taker said like his performance was bad, but Roman tried his ass off to help Taker through this whole thing, and yeah, and you can tell heading in, like, Taker not in the best of shape, and also Roman was still getting the bashing from the crowd at this point. So it was like, you mix those elements together, it's like, what the hell do you do? And honestly, this was kind of a surprise that this was the main event. You would have thought Lesnar-Goldberg would have went last, which, in hindsight, that probably should have been the main event. But given what they did with
that was a good match for what Lesnar and Goldberg did. That was Drew and Lesnar,
but with a crowd.
With a crowd. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And they were stiff. They were fucking laying it in. They were going New Japan, Vader and Stan Hansen on each other. Yes, folks. I just compared a Goldberg match to a New Japan match. Fuck you if you disagree. I'm right. You're wrong.
But yeah, given what they were going to do with Taker, like this was originally going to be his last match before Taker realized, I can't go out like that with a bad match. I want to go out with something good. And thankfully comes back the next year and looks phenomenal. Granted, disappointed the match was only 2 minutes, but still he looked good. And then the Boneyard match. But yeah, Taker Roman at 33, my number 9. Again, not really a bad match. It's just
That's the thing. The number of truly bad matches are
very small. Like I said, there's on my list. There's only really like 4 or 5 on my list that I would say are bad or
actually bad. Yeah.
Or
Yep.
So there you go. James,
my number 9. The first portion of it wasn't necessarily bad, and then everything else afterwards was like, Yokozuna, Bret Hart with the Hulk Hogan stuff at WrestleMania 9. I mean, Yoko Bret wasn't necessarily a bad match.
I thought
Granted, they went home 10 minutes early because Yoko's like, I'm done. And then Bret gets the sharpshooter on. Fuji, nobody tells Fuji they're going home, so he's doing the salt thing while Bret is looking, and then he sees the salt being thrown in his eyes, and then Hogan comes out 20 seconds later, and basically Bret's told, you're good, but not good enough, and Yoko, you don't really matter.
Yeah. Honestly, I prefer WrestleMania 10 match. Way better.
Yeah, the 10 match had the moment of Bret winning the belt and the celebration and all that. This was just
Yeah.
I've got more to say, and I have a different classification on what is truly considered a main event. So I got more to say. Let's just say this is probably hitting my. We'll go back to when we hit our top 5. Let's say that.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Scott?
My number 9, you mentioned it, Roman Taker, WrestleMania 33. I mean, it just not a bad match, but all we remember is the slip-ups, the mistakes, Taker trying to do his best and give everything he can because he knows if everything went by plan, this was going to be his farewell. This would have been his swan song. I'm going to put Roman over, pass the torch, whatever you want to call it. He'll get his moment at the end, the feel-good moment, as Ricky said, and he goes away into the sunset. Thank you very much. And that's not what happened. And because of that, like a lot of these matches we're going to talk about, one moment in time can take everything built up to it and completely negate it to that one moment where a big mess up happens or a screw up happens. It just takes all the emphasis away from everything that it could have been and should have been, but it wasn't. So that's why it's my number 9.
Ricky?
My number 9, WrestleMania 18, Triple H, Chris Jericho. Again, not a bad match. But how are we going to follow up Hogan, Rock? How the hell are you going to follow it up? You can't. It's astronomically impossible. If this match would have been before Hogan Rock, I think it would have been a better match. But again, being that factor and then the whole with Stephanie and all that, which honestly Jericho was just a third wheel because it was all about Stephanie and Hunter. Jericho was just like, here, we gave you the titles, but you don't matter really because, reasons. But yeah, I mean, again, not a bad match, but enjoyable match. But yeah.
Steve?
So my number 9 is something that I don't know if it'll be talked about later on with this list, but I'll be the first person to mention. It will be John Cena versus The Miz at WrestleMania 27.
4.
3.
Okay, so this
I don't have it.
not a bad match, but everything. This was basically this was just being the seeds being sown in for the next media to come. This is what we like to call fan service. This was people, they were giving the Rock versus John Cena, leading up to the tag happening at Survivor Series 2011. But before that, it was the Rock being the guest host for WrestleMania 27, making his return, of course. Then you have, not to take away, the awesome highlight package that preceded this match. Everything else that happened afterwards, not good.
Yeah.
Especially the first finish. The first finish with ending at a double counter because Miz got his head rocked in on the floor.
Yep.
Holy ball! And then they basically Rock came out and said, "We're not gonna end this Mania like this. Referee, restart the match." It's one Cena rock bottom. Miz pins over. Took him like literally 20 minutes to crawl from the barricade to the ring because nobody was fucking helping him. And 1, 2, 3, Miz. Then Rock's like, "Oh, you whatever, rock bottom, people's elbow. Alex Riley, you're gone. Bye, eat shit. Blah blah blah." Yeah, man. Cena versus Miz. It was just basically just to give the fans the appetizer for Rock Cena to follow the next year.
It was a setup. It was long-term booking.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm jumping the gun a bit early, but I felt that the Miz at this point, he wasn't ready for a main event WrestleMania. If it would have been the Miz right now, definitely.
Yes.
But Miz back then was still, getting the grounds. But anyway, I'll talk to more when I get the match.
Yeah. Walter?
My number 9's already been mentioned, so I'll be quick about it. Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, WrestleMania 7. I thought it was a good match. I think their Desert Storm match at MSG was a lot better.
Yes, it was.
Yes, but also in the sense of it had to follow Savage and Warrior. That was also the other thing. I mean, the crowd, the big crowning pop of the night was Macho Man and Elizabeth reuniting. Plus, Savage and Warrior was a much better match. So, in that essence, I mean, again, not a bad match. It was an okay match from what I remember. But, again, kind of like what it had to follow something that preceded it. So.
Now we're into number 8, and my number 8, well, This is one of the matches I feel like I'm going to be murdered for, and that's Triple H Roman Reigns at 32. Again, it's not a bad match. It's just a problem. The crowd was terrible during this match, but my biggest gripe with this match, not really anything memorable about it except for the spear on Stephanie. That, and also the match went like 10 minutes too long. Like, it should not have been a 30-minute match. It should have been 20 at most. But instead, they just dragged on and on and
It was
on.
pro wrestling. They were telling a story. Triple H is an old school worker. You guys are supposedly pro wrestling fans, you know. By the way, pro wrestling and sports entertainment are the same thing. Just want to remind everybody of that. But they were telling a story. But Triple H is a very old school worker, and they were working at an old school pace. Pick a body part, work it. Unfortunately, the modern crowd and also the weird disdain they have for Reigns at that time. That was
because CM Punk told them to.
I'll give my reasoning when I talk about it, because I have a different reason behind it.
Oh,
there we go.
But actually, I'm liking this because everyone's got a different match for different reasons, and it's all agreeable.
Yeah.
We can all,
like I said, I agree. The crowd was stupid, but it just didn't help that. It did not help this at all.
Made it tough to watch. But
that's really the big reason why it's on here, is because the crowd made it difficult to watch, and it just
this match is never talked about. This match is never brought up.
It never happened, even though it was like 22 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. It's the biggest WrestleMania in history, the biggest drawing WrestleMania ever, and it's never talked about.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
That Mania in general is hardly brought up.
Yeah.
James, I would swear.
All right, my number 8's already been brought up by a bunch of people, but Roman Undertaker WrestleMania 33.
Mm-hmm.
Scott?
All right, I've got one nobody's mentioned yet. I don't know if anyone else has it on this list, but as I just stated in my previous match, one moment can change everything. And that is why my number 8 is not necessarily a bad match, but it's remembered for a bad botch. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 19.
Oh, interesting.
Because what does it all come down? What does it all come down to?
The finish.
Fuck, he screwed up.
What
do I do? Because at that moment, the crowd went. That was it. What happened? He picks him up, F5, 1, 2, 3. Oh,
yay!
And Kurt's thinking, fuck, I gotta defend this belt more because he has to go out for surgery.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Brock's trying to hug him.
Brock is concussed for what he just fucking did to himself. Angle was way too far away. Brock gets bad takeoff on the top rope, doesn't get full thing, pile drives himself. What the fuck? The crowd is like, what the hell just happened here? Things were going good.
This match?
I couldn't tell you. But the fact of the matter is, and many people have said too, as James alluded to with Brock and Drew, Brock didn't want to be there, didn't want to do what he wanted, didn't want to do business or whatever. In this match, Kurt's the veteran, Brock's the new guy. Brock doesn't want to listen. Every time Kurt says to do something, Brock's like, no, I want to do this. Okay, let's have a shitty match, okay? And they work their ass off, but that one moment in time negates everything else that they built up to in that match.
Any other guy would have been dead after Brock's landing.
Yep. I mean, freaking Taker doing that when he dove out of the ring too, and everything else.
After that, I can't remember. It was a veteran who gave Brock a talking to about don't ever do dumb shit.
Briscoe.
Like that again.
I think it was Johnny Ace who told him to do the shooting star.
I think you're right.
There's
the footage.
Do something memorable.
There was that documentary. There was the documentary, The Mania of the Mania, and you see Brock after the match, totally out of it, like, leave me alone, don't touch me, and everyone's like, no, calm down. They're trying to get him to chill out because he's out of it. He doesn't know what he's doing. So because of that whole situation there supersedes anything they did in that match. That's all people remember from it. And for that, for me,
that's the other thing, though.
That's the thing. But as the main event of WrestleMania, it flopped.
I will say,
quite frankly, in hindsight, you maybe should have gone with Vince versus Hogan, because that was the match. That's the match they were building up the most.
Yes, sir. I agree with that 100%.
And it would be a great way to end the night with Hogan posing.
With Piper coming out as the big surprise at the end, come on, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, really.
You know? Yeah. So, yes, I was actually going to say, James, yeah, that if they reworked it, yes, Hogan-Vince should have been the last match.
Or hell, even Rock Austin.
Hogan and
that was supposed to be the last match until Austin had his little event the night before. That was Austin's last match was going to be the main event, and then they changed everything around after he spent the night in the hospital.
Okay.
I will say this though, that had Brock nailed that shooting star, that would be talked about.
That was the finish. That was the finish.
Yep, that was supposed to be the finish.
Had it been executed, I think that would become like one of those moments you would see on every Mania highlight reel forever.
You know it.
Because it's not that he couldn't do it. We saw him do it many times before on like house shows or OVW or like on Heat or like dark matches. Nailed it perfectly. Better than Billy Kidman ever could.
That's true.
Except Kidman didn't fuck up like this because it was the main event of WrestleMania.
That's true.
Yeah, there is that factor. So,
Liger is still the king of the shooting star.
That is true.
That's
true.
The originator is always the best.
That's right.
Always.
Ricky.
So there you go.
My number 8, Zip. WrestleMania 2000. Hunter, Rock, Show, and Foley.
Mick.
Yeah, I mean, again, like James said, it should have been Rock, Hunter, but then you have the McMahons into it, especially WrestleMania 2000's already saturated with fatal 4-ways, triple threats.
One singles match.
Exactly. So it was already saturated. The crowd was like, another fatal 4-way. Another fatal 4-way. Give us a singles match already. But thankfully we got, Rock, Hunter later down the year and the Judgment. Backlash, which a phenomenal
match. Which we will be talking about in April.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, when you add the McMahons into it, the Fatal 4-Way, the story, everything, it's just a big clusterfuck.
Big Show was eliminated in 5 minutes. Mick Foley couldn't do the dive through the table.
Because he was done. Well, he was done after the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah. Kyle, you want a main event WrestleMania?
I will give him that moment. Come on back. Vince, I'm kind of fat now. You're always fat. Get out there.
Wow.
It's already been mentioned, so I'm going to put it at my number 8. That's be Triple H versus Chris Jericho. Misogyny, guys. We talk about. There's a lot of things that would have that flew back in the ruthless aggression era that would not slide in here. And oh my God, this is like the match itself had its moments. But you always have to have triple. It basically took the focus away from Jericho and basically put it on the divorce of Triple H and Stephanie. And my next match that I'll mention afterwards also involved McMahon's, which has already been mentioned, but I shall elaborate. Anything usually that involves a McMahon in the main event, doesn't turn out for the best. So with that being said, that's why I have Jericho WrestleMania 18. Jericho versus Triple H WrestleMania 18 should have been Hogan versus Rock. Enough said.
Agreed.
Walter.
Number 8, Ricky. Ricky and I are we're kindred spirits. Same thing. WrestleMania 2000. Triple H, Mick Foley, Big Show, Rock. Just an overbooked mess. Really kind of just a very unmemorable match, when you come to think about it. And also the first time a heel goes up at WrestleMania.
Right.
Yep.
And it seems almost every time a heel goes up at WrestleMania, everything just ends on a flat note.
Right.
They just had rock bottom and people's elbow everybody, and Rock must pose.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Just and that was the thing that was a very highly anticipated WrestleMania.
It was
the all day long beforehand.
Yes. Yep.
Lackluster I mean, for God's sakes, you had Jericho versus Benoit versus Kurt Angle. on that show.
The triangle
And the
ladder
whole
match.
Triangle ladder match.
Ladder match.
And for some reason, the whole show just kind of fell flat in a sense, and a mundane main event on top of that.
Yeah. Well, might as well continue on, because my number 7 is also Triple H, The Rock, Big Show, and Foley at 16. And let's not forget, originally the 4-way was supposed to have been Triple H, Rock, Big Show, and Jericho, but they took Jericho out to put Foley in. That was the poster for the show, was those 4, Hunter, Rock, Big Show, and Jericho. But they took Jericho out, which you look back on it, it was kind of a dick move to take Jericho out, but I appreciate why they put Foley in, because we feel bad Foley didn't get to main event. Let's give him a moment. Then
Again,
he can do whatever.
mundane
But
and
still.
mundane and
But yeah,
underwhelming.
it was an underwhelming. Again, it wasn't bad. It was okay at best. It's just the only thing you remember about this match is the fucking McMahons in every corner.
Yeah.
And one
to
added
kind of-
thing, Wait, continue.
I was going to say, like, the biggest reason why we're going to be talking Backlash 2000, because, like, half of that show is what Mania should have been. And what happened at Backlash with Rock and Triple H, with the Austin stuff, that should have happened here. And it would have helped the show so much. And it would have ended off better than what we ended up with. You have... Basically, you would just take the match they had at Backlash and apply it here with the Austin involvement. You're talking one of the most memorable main events in WrestleMania history. One of the best in Mania history, too. But yeah, we have to have a 4-way because, well, there was the controversy at the Rumble where Rock technically hit the floor first and Big Show claims to have won. And you got Triple H and Foley and their stuff and all that. Yeah, just a absolute fustercluck of a main event that's not terrible. It's okay at best, but again,
underwhelming.
Underwhelming.
You bring Foley out of retirement and you don't put him over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, if
That's
you were going to
yes.
have him in this, he should have won the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mundane. That's the word I'm going to be using.
It was a consolation prize for Foley. That was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
James.
My number 7 has not been brought up. I don't know if it's going to. It may. But Rock and John Cena WrestleMania 29.
I knew that was going to be on somebody's list.
Now, the match at 28 was fantastic. We talked about it last week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those where nobody really wanted to see the rematch. You wanted to see it the first time, but then you do it again. It's the law of diminishing returns.
I think
Plus,
the finish is what threw that off from that match for me.
The fact it was for the title, it didn't really need the belt. If Rock got hurt, and then it just became all finishers. And, I mean, Cena going over, you knew it was going to happen, so...
It was the right call.
You knew it was going to happen, so I'm not mad about that. It's just, it was a match nobody really wanted to see again. It shouldn't have been for the title, and then it just became finishers.
My one comment I'll say about that is, because I was there, the crowd didn't give a shit. The crowd popped for every fucking false finish that they were doing. They were doing so many, the crowd didn't care. They were just like, okay, keep doing it. We'll just keep going with you. And I actually, you can actually see me do this during that match. I go like this because I say, guys, just do this all fucking night. They're going to keep popping for you. And they were. Every false finish, as mundane and as repetitive as it was, crowd kept going with it. So with that, live experience and seeing it, I know, are two different things. So I'm not saying it's wrong by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, it was definitely like the crowd like going, okay, keep going, fine, whatever, yay, we'll just keep going with this shit until it's over. I got to catch the bus back to the hotel.
Yeah, and
Personally, watching it at home, I was just ready for it to be over.
Over, right.
I mean,
Oh yes. I was there.
Because of you. You were
It's a B. I'm
You're
in the
a
opening
Slammy Award
shot.
winner.
That's right. I am a Slammy Award winner. That's right.
Where's your Slammy?
It's still on
Well, I'm-
WWE Shop.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. It's in my pants.
I mean, I'll still say this. Like, the only reason I will disagree with this not being on my list is only because I liked the match at the time, but yeah, looking back after all these years, yeah, it doesn't hold up. But
I was never
will
a fan of
say-
it to begin with.
I will say, like, what they should have done was either one of two things, and it goes back to what we were talking about with last week. If they was going to do Rock Cena again, they should have done it in one of two different ways. One, triple threat with Punk for the title. Rock can take the fall, Cena wins the belt, and Punk can feud with Cena for the belt for the next pay-per-view or so. I mean, granted, the last man standing match with Ryback was great, but then after that, not so much so. But yeah, they could have done that, or do what I think they should have done, was after 28 when Cena lost, truly make 2012 Cena's worst year of his career, lose every pay-per-view match, and it all culminates with him just finally going like, okay, I hate the fans, I need your help, and you guys aren't there for me. Fine, I gotta go. He takes, like, say after SummerSlam or Night of Champions when he faces Punk for the belt, goes away for the rest of the year, comes back, wins the Rumble, then you don't build Rock Cena 2 over twice in a lifetime, but will Cena finally snap? And you could have done in either way. Either Cena just becomes more secure about the fans and just moves on and just is more mature about it, or he goes to that dark place. And really, either story would have been interesting, but I think I know which story I would have loved to have seen.
Well, it's not on
But
my
I
list
digress.
it's not on my list because, as Al Snow said, it sold the most tickets. So there you go.
There is that factor too. But Scott,
7 for me has already been mentioned. Triple H, Jericho, 18. No more need to be said. Move on. And I was there.
Ricky,
My number 7, Reigns Triple H, WrestleMania 32. So the story building up to this match, I was kind of enjoying it, but the execution of the match was, I mean, by the time the crowd didn't give a shit, to be honest, Reigns at the point was still hated, even though Reigns now a badass.
He was.
I just, in terms of, if Taker Reigns match would have not been that bad, I would have said this could have been Reigns' worst WrestleMania match. It's up, probably down there. To be honest,
I got something else in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Digress.
yeah, but
30.
I mean, it's not a bad match. But sometimes I look at them like, why did I see this match in the first place? Oh yeah, it was in Texas, and I'm a Texan. That's why.
Steve.
Okay, we've already mentioned it 5 times, so we're going with it for... No, this is going to be the 5th time. The 4-way with each McMahon in every corner. I mean, I think the only highlight for that match was basically Foley eating shit and eating the side of the table. Everything else...
Pretty much,
Oh,
yeah.
no, it was that.
Yeah.
No, it was that. I remember it was a story that Triple H told on the documentary For All Mankind. He say, I'm gonna go to Disneyland afterwards, and then you hear, and then he tells the Triple H on the ringside, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. But that's pretty much the only thing. It's just Foley eating shit on the side of the announce table. Everything else is, like I said, like I mentioned with the Triple H versus Jericho match, is a McMahon. If you have McMahon involved in the main event, it's usually not a great thing. There's also another main event that involves McMahon that we should talk about a little later. But yeah, enough said about the fatal 4-way that should have been triple threat, should have been something else or whatever.
Walter.
My number 7 is a slightly controversial pick. WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. And here's my reasoning why. 2 things, okay? 1, other than the title celebration at the end, what do we remember from the match?
Yoko falling at the end.
Yeah.
And number 2, it followed Shawn and Razor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, it's not an awful match. I thought the WrestleMania 9 match was a little better. Brett had the right, and Brett copied somewhat the same approach of psychology in there. He wrestled the smartest match he could with a guy like Yokozuna, but also Yoko was starting to get up there and weight at this time, and he wasn't able to move as well as he was moving back a year ago prior to that, which kind of immobilized him and hurt the match a little bit. Again, there's really nothing memorable about the match except for the win and the celebration at the end with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Burt Reynolds and all them coming out and celebrating and hugging and kissing. It had to follow Shawn and Razor. Everyone, when WrestleMania 10 comes up, the first thing that's brought up is Shawn and Razor.
Yep.
So,
Followed by
and
Brett
also
Owen.
Yoko had to work a match before that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
They did work twice.
He'd already wrestled about a 20-minute match about 40 minutes earlier. And then he has to wrestle this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luger, and then you had you had also Mr. Perfect as the guest referee, and then he screwed Luger, and then it was supposed to set some sort of program, but as I recall, it really didn't lead up to anything. With
Nothing
Luger.
came out of it. Yeah.
Perfect walked out of the company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta claim my Lloyd's of London because, ouch.
Yeah. My fingernail, my pinky nails broke in.
Yep.
All right.
So now on to number 6.
We only got number 6 so far.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So my number 6, I don't know if it's really controversial or not, but again, this is the case where it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that good either. It was just average. Bam Bam LT at Mania 11.
Not even on my list.
No, me neither.
Not on my list.
That's not on
Wow,
my list.
Ricky's number 1. That's a shock. I mean, again, this was just a case where I put it on the list by default because, again, this list was tough to make for me because really, like, 80% of Mania main events are good or classics. So I had to really get nitpicky and put, okay, what are some matches that are not very memorable that I could put on here? And really, this match, again, it's kind of like what Walter's criteria. It's not really that memorable, although for LT, he didn't do half bad. That's really
They're
the
real
thing.
good.
That's the thing
For
that
LT, they're
saves.
really good.
That's what saves this match from being higher on the list is because LT, despite he was fucking done by the end, because even like some people will attest to this as outside athletes who come into pro wrestling will tell you that wrestling is harder than the sport that they're in because of the different kind of conditioning you gotta be in. Because you can tell by the reason why this match made the list and I think I would have left it off the list if it was a little bit shorter to protect LT a little bit, because going out there for the length they did and LT was fucking dead by the end, maybe not the best decision on their part just for that reason. So had they made the match a little bit shorter to protect LT a little bit, I don't think I would have had it on the list, but they had LT do that long of a match, and yeah, again, just nothing memorable, nothing special, and that's why it was my number 6. James.
My number 6 has already been mentioned, but Triple H Roman Reigns WrestleMania 32. So, WrestleMania 32 was the first Mania in a stretch of Manias that were way too fucking long. The main show was 5 hours. The pre-show, you have 2 hours, so you're 7 hours in.
Yeah.
People just want this to be done. And we still have one match left. And I shit you not, when this match happened live, I fell asleep during the match. I was done. And then going back and watching it again, I was actually looking forward to this match thinking, okay, if nothing else, Triple H is going to make Reigns look like $1 million. And I was waiting and waiting for it, and it didn't fucking happen. It's not complete horseshit, but I wouldn't put it up there as a great main event or even a good main event. It was just, nah.
Fair. It was
It was one of those. It was just one of those, and that goes for another match later on, where it's too long in terms of the show. Let's just wrap this shit up.
I felt it was a good main event, but I 100% agree with you on the fact that it was a long freaking night. So, I mean, maybe if they did a 2-night WrestleMania there, or just cut the freaking card down a little, maybe the reception would have been a little more mild. I don't know. I still thought it was a decent match, though. It's pro
You could have
wrestling.
probably put it in the middle of the show, and it would have been a lot better received.
Everyone loves pro wrestling until it's time to actually pro wrestle, Scott. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. and it's also the debate is like, oh, I wish WrestleMania was longer. Okay, we give you longer WrestleMania. This WrestleMania is too long. Oh, fuck me. How long do you want it? 5 minutes, 26 minutes, or 7 hours and 14 minutes? What the fuck do you want? And it's like,
you want a long night.
Wrestle
Kingdom's a long night. Well, that's why Wrestle Kingdom's a 3-night event now. So.
Yeah, right. And it just gets okay. Yeah, now WrestleMania's 2 nights. Good. Let's stick with that. It works. Yeah. Because again, they're going to try to get everybody on the show, get everybody the payday, and everything else. It's like I totally agree. Like, okay, 7 hours is too fucking long. Let's just be honest here when it comes to a wrestling event. But still, it's like, there has to be some parity. Like, okay, what's too long? 5 hours is too much. 6 hours too much. 7 hours. People were complaining. Oh, WrestleMania needs to be longer. Okay, you get it. Oh, it's too fucking long. Can't fucking win.
Like this broke the record at the time for longest WrestleMania
until we get to
the next year and the next year and then the year after that. 35 was the breaking point.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it was
like. But spoilers, I don't have the 35 main event.
No,
me neither.
It was a long show. I will definitely give you that one.
It starts one day and ends another.
But it's like, my justification for 32, it's like, let's just end it. And I was looking forward to it and was disappointed. So
and I think this I like the fact they're doing 2 nights, and I kind of hope they continue it because the crowd is fresh every night.
Yeah, every night. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
all right, my number 6 has already been mentioned. WrestleMania 27, Cena Miz. Nothing more needs to be said about that. It is what it is. But sorry, boys, I have to pee. I'll be back. Continue talking.
All right, Ricky.
My number 6 is Hogan Slaughter, WrestleMania 7. What more can I say? I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Steve.
All right. So my number 6 would have to be. I'm bringing another one that nobody's mentioned yet. Probably, I don't know, maybe a little later on, but I'm gonna be the first one to bring it. Triple H versus Randy Orton, WrestleMania 25.
5.
4.
So this match should have been a no disqualification.
That's exactly my reasoning.
Barbed wire, exploding death match type of situation. But what do we get? What do we get, though? What do we get? We get a
normal match where if Triple H gets disqualified, he loses.
Triple H doesn't even charge at Randy Orton. He doesn't even get his shit in. They start wrestling a little bit. It's just a normal match, like as in, but have Randy Orton getting his house broken into and getting tossed out a window. The week of that happening. And then Orton kissing a prone Stephanie McMahon while Triple H was handcuffed the week before that. All that animosity led to this poof of a match. It happened.
Plus, it had to follow Shawn and Taker.
I was about to say
that too. That was also a problem. It followed It followed Triple H and Taker, and luckily they resolved that problem the following year. But it's still. If it was going to be last, it should have been hardcore, no disqualification, body fall counts everywhere, death row, some tax everywhere.
And Orton should have gone over.
Yeah.
And Orton should have gone over. Yeah. True. But the fact that the fact that stipulate also it was a stipulation that Vicky Guerrero said this was going to be if anybody got involved they were banned. That didn't help neither. I think there was a stipulation where Vicky Guerrero said anybody outside of Triple H and Orton's allies got involved, they were going to get banned. So that didn't really help anything. So what it could have been, this could have been a really strong match between Triple H and Randy Orton, and it just that's it.
Walter. Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Not moving your phone.
Technical difficulties, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're live, Prowl.
No,
Not yet.
Not yet. Keep
Underwater.
talking.
It's
Yeah,
like
just
your
keep
mic-
talking.
Oh,
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Yay!
Good. Yay! Okay.
Don't
All
move your
right,
neck.
my number 6 was already mentioned. I'll be quick about it. WrestleMania 11, Bam Bam Bigelow versus LT. I understand the spectacle behind it, and it was a big deal, and it got them a lot of national press. But
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Now into the top 5. Now this is where in the portion on my list where we get to the bad stuff. These 5 for me are the bad ones. So my number 5, it's been mentioned, the Yoko Brett Hogan at 9. I mean, Yoko Brett, that match I thought was a good match. It's just, yeah, Yoko going home too early, and it made Brett look like a complete and utter fucking moron with the salt spot.
Pointless.
And then,
yeah, pointless.
and then Hogan coming out, and it's like, oh, are you okay, Brett? Brett's like, go get him! And then 20 seconds later, he beats Yoko for the belt, and Brett was like on the outside, go out there and beat Yoko, while on the inside,
Oh,
it's like,
get him, champ!
and Brett on the inside's like, and Brett on the inside's
Fuck
like,
you.
yeah, Brett on the inside's like, fuck you for taking my spot.
He doesn't even make it all the way up the aisle and Hogan's music is playing.
Yeah. So, yeah, and also it's also been received to this day. It's like one of the worst, like, booking moments in company history, because it's like, you just crowned a new champ, and then you have Hogan come out because Hogan must pose. Granted, Hogan's the reason why that show got over 400,000 buys, but still.
Hogan winning the belt got 0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Fuck that shit. James?
My number 5's already been mentioned. Triple H, Randy Orton, WrestleMania 25. This is another one I was really looking forward to. And the fact that you get the balls of the match got cut off when it's like, oh, if Triple H gets disqualified or counted out, he loses the belt. Then they got to follow Undertaker and Shawn. And then it's, okay, what? And then Orton doesn't go over. It's okay. All these things, as long as Orton goes over, whatever. And he loses. So, there's so much about this I did not like.
And I will go more in depth about that in the next turn. Scott?
My number 5, same thing. WrestleMania 25, Triple H RKO. Just long, boring, doesn't do anything fantastic. The added stipulation at the last minute that doesn't do anything for it. Just the fact that this match is so fucking long, too. You want to talk about the 32 match with Roman being long. This one I think is shorter, but feels like it's longer. Just goes on and on. And if this thing had been 10 minutes, knocked down, drag out, falls count anywhere, bunkhouse style, lights out, blood everywhere type matchup, yeah. Okay, I think we would have had one of the best main events of WrestleMania history. But no, not what we're going to get.
Not to mention Triple H pedigreed a corpse.
Yeah.
Stop! He's already dead.
Dead. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Kitty Vic?
Ah!
Who the hell is Katie Vick?
Here we go again. I tell you who Katie Vick is.
Out.
I tell you exactly who Katie Vick is. I had her sing on the last 6 Feet Under album. Well, what do you mean she's dead? I thought I was her boyfriend.
Chris Barnes, ladies and gentlemen. Is that Katie Vick? That's my son Bruce.
Oh
God.
Ooh.
Yes, Katie.
Smell Helen, how'd your crotch smell today?
like ranch.
Yes.
Day old ranch.
Stampede. Okay.
Ricky.
What? Concentrate, boy.
My number 5 is the match that no one has mentioned right now, which I guarantee you I think everyone has at their number one. Hulk Hogan, Sid Justice, WrestleMania 8.
One. Yep. One.
Now,
How
First of
dare
all-
you?
Yep.
Now, first of all, when you plant the seeds at the Rumble 93, Hogan, Flair, that was going to be a great match. But then when you have fucking Sid Vicious, this is where I'm going to start ranting here, people, because I'm going on now. Oh, it's all going downhill from here. But
Ricky, may I interject? Scott and I were alive and actually got to see Hogan and Flair at the Garden, and it was like, oh, well,
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
that was okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I
It was
know,
like, oh, that's it?
But
And don't get me wrong, it was the dream match. It was.
It was.
PWI
but-
went on for years about Hogan and Flair. Then it happened.
Mhm. And then,
They overexposed it. That
Right.
that was the big problem. They overexposed it in the build-up, and that's why they took it off.
Yep.
Two huge egos.
And you had the hometown guy and the outside guy.
yeah.
Nobody
Not-
trusting anybody.
Not to mention, this match ended in a DQ. Papa Shango,
botched
the Godfather
DQ.
himself,
Botched
missed
DQ.
his fucking
Mhm.
cue.
Sid kicked out of the leg drop, which
Yep.
nobody fucking
Nobody
did.
does. Yep.
Yep.
There's,
Yeah,
you know,
and then
we'll-
how
a lot
they
of us
end
have
the
this as our number one, so we'll get into
Yeah.
the detail when
Yeah.
we get to it.
And then
But
how
yeah.
they end the match? Warrior, does he return?
Warrior
I don't remember.
returns, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the other
Which it was
warrior.
a good moment, but
Is that Warrior?
Yeah, it was weird. His hair was all nice. Like
He looks skinny.
I wonder why.
Is he on an off cycle?
It was a
Ah.
damned if you do, damned if you don't situation because, as James said, overexposure. And even though Flair was with the company, he was an outsider. And this once again goes with other of my philosophies. Sometimes the forbidden door is not the best idea.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my number 5.
All right.
Okay,
Steve.
boys and girls, strap in because we're going to the countdown of my portion where we were in the I was there section of the
Captain.
countdown.
He was there.
He was there.
So the next 3 picks are the portions where I was there, hence why they are so high on this fucking list. So the first coming up would be Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I was there. I was one of the 1 bajillion people that were in the Dallas Cowboys stadiums. That very 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 nice, but the content of that Mania was nope. The only thing that came great out of that Mania was that triple threat match between the women. That's the only single fucking highlight of that Mania, and I'm disappointed that I paid money to watch that garbage. And the fact that it came on with a Triple H Roman Reigns 23-hour match. Just we were tired. Yeah, we were sick of this bullshit. I can count. I was there. The crowd. We didn't give a fuck at this point. We just did everything to just hey, take it home, guys. Don't make this 22 minutes. And they made it 22 minutes. So fuck them. Fuck that match. Let's go. Move on.
You can tell now the tone, now the top 5 is all going downhill. We're
Oh yeah, it's all
Oh,
going to
yeah.
shits now. Yeah.
Oh,
Triple
yeah.
H should have probably thought, okay, the crowd doesn't care. Let's take this home early. They're not going to punish us.
Just like they should have done with him and RKO at 25. They had done the same kind of situation. 10 minutes of not down, drag out, let it all loose.
Or
Yep.
just
Do
wrap
that.
it up.
Yep. Wrap that shit.
All right, Walter.
My number 5, 2 years after that, once again, the continuation of the fucking long WrestleManias. WrestleMania 34, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Number 3.
Really?
Yep. First off, long ass fucking WrestleMania. 15 matches if you include the pre-show stuff. Okay. A broken hearted Steve Mesa because Shinsuke Nakamura lost to AJ Styles.
Fuck that
We
match
thought-
too.
We thought that was gonna be it. We thought he was gonna do it. And plus, he did kick him in the balls. So,
Yes, he did.
You know,
Yep.
that's the great part about that match. He kicked him in the balls.
My
And
Facebook
that-
cover picture for quite some time was Shinsuke kicking AJ in the nuts.
And that match was overhyped too because it did not
Yeah.
deliver.
And that was the thing, because that one had potential to be good because we saw it in the Tokyo Dome.
Mhm.
But anyways, though, Roman and Brock, it lacked the psychology and the emotion behind their WrestleMania 31 match. WrestleMania 31, it was picture perfect. Roman getting the shit kicked out of him by Brock, and he fucking hits the Superman punch and nails Brock into the post, and there's blood, and he's actually on the verge of beating him, and then set picture perfect. This was just like a house show main event, it felt like.
I felt that the reason people started shitting on this is, remember, the after WrestleMania 33, when you had both Lesnar and Reigns in the same ring, this was the main event for next year. So by this time, people were like, "Oh God, just give us a match and get it over with." So I understand the crowd at the time.
It was just a long night, and it was an underwhelming main event. And actually, I think the first time ever the crowd was pissed about Roman not winning.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, because I was expecting, I was like, they gotta give it a Reigns, and then Lesnar was like, what the fuck?
The show itself had strong moments. Great opening with Miz and Rollins and Balor. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey and Triple H and Steph giving the best mixed gender match ever. Okay.
Yes.
Oscar Charlotte.
Oh, Oscar Charlotte was
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Undertaker Cena in like their 2-minute match, which quite frankly that maybe should have closed.
That could
because
have,
you were building that up the entire. You were building Cena. Is Taker going to show up? You could have built that shit the whole night.
Yep.
And then closed with that. And
it would have been great.
We would remember 34 a little more fondly.
Yeah. I'll die on this hill defending Cena because of that match. He let Taker destroy him in 2 minutes.
Him up. He was like, "Yes, sir. You do whatever you want." Made the crowd.
I'll even let you tombstone me.
Because it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
And of course, the crowning moment of the night: Nicholas winning the tag team title.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
God.
I mean, right there.
Technically, he's the youngest person to win a title.
Yeah.
Who wants to? Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a cute moment and a great moment, but someone told me, and I thought that was a great idea because he was gone and missing at the time. If Braun pulled James Ellsworth from the crowd.
Oh, God.
If Braun pulled James Ellsworth from the crowd and they win the tag titles, Ellsworth gets, and then he gets released.
Then he's released.
But yeah, underwhelming main event, felt like a house show main event. Really did nothing for me. So let's see what they do next weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see if they get it right this time.
The roles are reversed now. We'll see.
The roles are reversed, and we got a different Brock and a different Roman. We have a grown.
Brock actually cares.
Yes.
We have a
He's having fun.
We have a legit. We have a Brock that cares, and we have a Roman who's legit to the best in the world, who's elevated himself to be the best worker in the world. So, yeah, I'm seeing.
Looking forward to it next week.
What's that?
Number 4. Let's go.
So now on to my number 4. It's been mentioned. I'm going to go in depth, and that's Triple H, Randy Orton at 25. Oh my God! Like the build up, going back to the go home to Royal Rumble. Vince is coming out, confronting Orton over him being absolutely insane. Randy Orton, and then punt to the face, and then Orton like, oh my God, I lost it. And then he goes on to win the Rumble.
IED, yep.
And then he goes in to win the Rumble, so he's like, well, I get a guaranteed shot at a championship. You can't fire me now, or I'll sue the company. And then you get the Triple H and Stephanie stuff, which made the whole thing really intense, like punting everybody in his path, handcuffing Triple H to the rope, RKO Steph, while she's down, Orton. And then the home invasion, which was so cool. It was like you would have thought, with the intensity of the build and then the confrontation they had the week after the home invasion, where after Orton's like, yeah, I'll be kissing your wife again. And then the line Triple H drops, last time we faced off, I broke your collarbone. But that was just business. This is personal, and I'm going to break your neck. With the freaking intensity, this should have been a no-holds-barred match. And if that would have happened, we'd be talking a great main event. But
we wouldn't be talking about this match.
No,
right
we wouldn't.
But we end up with a plain vanilla match with, if Triple H gets disqualified, he loses the belt. Went longer than it should have, and of course had to follow. Not only did it have to follow Taker Shawn, but also even the world title triple threat, which was actually a pretty good triple threat, having to follow the classic moment of Cena holding both Big
Yep.
Show and Edge.
Yeah.
No fucking way you were following either of
Nope.
those two things.
Nope.
So yeah, this match was dead from the word go. And it sucks because the build-up made you want to see this match. But it's just a fucking normal match that nobody wanted. We wanted brutality. We wanted viciousness. And we end up with this pile of shit.
Orton was insanely over at that point. Too.
Yeah.
It was
And that Orton
Yeah.
didn't get the bell here was stupid. So, yeah. James?
My number 4 has already been talked about, but The Miz and John Cena WrestleMania 27. Miz was the third wheel as the WWE champion, which should never be the case. And it was all about Rock versus Cena. And that match was happening a year from this one.
It was a preview to Rock versus Cena. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they pretty much threw WrestleMania 27 under the bus to build up WrestleMania 28.
Mm-hmm.
Scott?
My number 4 has not been mentioned yet. And the simple fact it's on my list is because I forgot this was the main event of WrestleMania 13. Undertaker versus Sid. Okay. So there you go. Yeah. This was what? This was the main event of WrestleMania 13. You sure about that? Hold on. Google. No, Google's wrong. Wikipedia? No, Wikipedia's wrong. What? This was? Holy... I never freaking hear about this match anymore. All you hear about WrestleMania 13 is what?
The submission match.
Possibly the
Exactly. That's all you think about. That's all you hear about.
The most
Matches-
important match of the last 30 years in American pro wrestling.
Yes.
What, nobody's heard about the Ahmed Johnson LOD versus the Nation of Where they actually brought
that one.
That actually was a bad.
gem!
That was
One of the more
good.
underrated Mania matches.
Everyone got hurt, but it was still a pretty good match.
Everybody got fucked up.
Oh, it was stiff. It was stiff. You had 6
Oh
of
my
the
God.
motherfuckers in wrestling.
Rook tore his shoulder to shit.
Yep.
PG-13 was decimated.
See, that was entertaining. Even though everyone got hurt, it entertained the fucking out of us.
Hey, it's a fucking it ain't
It's
ballet.
modern day pro wrestling.
Right. Everyone gets hurt. Yay! who hurts each other? Yeah. So WrestleMania 13, Taker Sid. Who cares? Drawn out. I don't care. No DQ. Whatever. Yeah. Good for you. Okay. Give me Austin and Brett again. That's all I care about. So that's why it's my number
My
4.
veins.
Ricky?
My hole.
Number 4, Levi, you mentioned it. Triple H, Randy Orton, WrestleMania 25. The fact that this match should have been a no holds barred, falls count anywhere, something chaotic. I mean, because my God, this rivalry, they were going at each other like fucking dogs on cocaine. I wanted them to rip the living crap out of each other. Then again, they had to follow up Taker Sean, which Triple H even mentioned in the documentary. Like, how the fuck are we gonna follow up that? The answer is, you fucking can't. You can't follow up that. It's impossible. And then when it was a vanilla match, I mean, I was like, oh God, this is gonna be so bad. The only thing I remember about this match was Triple H's entrance when he breaks the glass with the sledgehammer. That's all I remember from the match. The rest just like,
Okay, let's just get to the finish. Just come on.
yeah. And
Come
didn't
on.
Triple H do the pedigree
Work the
at the
body
beginning of the
part.
match?
Body part.
I remember.
body part.
What is it, Ricky?
Didn't Triple H try to pedigree Randy at the beginning of the match?
I think so, yeah.
I think they both hit their finishers on each other.
That's right. They did.
Yes.
Pretty early, yeah.
Mhm.
But then I realized that this Mania was the same Mania that gave us Hardy versus Hardy. So I kind of understand why they didn't want another kind of like
Weapon
false count, you know, that kind of match.
Yeah.
But the purpose of this rivalry, it fit that. It fit them
Yeah.
to go at an all-out, no holds barred match.
Mhm.
To be
Or
honest,
even a steel cage match would have been better than
Oh,
what we had.
yeah.
You could have taken the title out of the equation and made it an unsanctioned match.
Mhm.
That too.
And then done the
Yep.
title match the month after.
Mhm.
yeah.
Where it's like, everything is too intense. We cannot sanction this match.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
So, continuing the portion in which I was there for these manias, My number 4 is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Holy shit, was this a long fucking day. Not as long as Dallas was, be it. But at least with this one, this Mania was a step up compared to what Dallas was. We were mentioning the tag, the opener, the you know, whatever. Daniel Bryan returning at show. Lord, after retirement. We had so many good stuff happening. I'll say there was more good stuff than bad stuff, but the one bad spot for WrestleMania 34, at least that I can remember, is that fucking main event. If you gave me the picture from the year before of the Raw leading up to Roman and Brock Lesnar playing tug of war with the belt, and that gave me an indication of what was to come for New Orleans, I probably would have left early and skipped that entire fucking match. But that's a whole different thing. Nothing. The fact that we were actually going for Roman for the love of God. We were cheering for Roman. We wanted Roman to win, but
honestly,
the little,
Mm-hmm.
little fart of Lesnar winning. No. We weren't taking that, and everybody, despite the fact that we're in New Orleans in sort of a party mood, just killed the party. That match was a party fucking killer. Fuck that match.
Yep.
Walter.
Underwhelming and a brain. All right, my number 4, quick and easy. We'll go right through it. WrestleMania 20, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chris Benoit. I had to do it.
I know. I was waiting for somebody to do it. Nobody's trolled the list yet, so somebody had to do it.
Number 4 is Mr. Scott's number 4. We're kindred spirits. Sid and Taker, WrestleMania 13. Scott pretty much said everything I said. Underwhelming main event. Only thing I remember is Brett coming out and bitching and moaning. And also on top of that, it had to follow. Like we just said, Austin and Brett, possibly the best WrestleMania match ever. If
Maybe
not
best match in company history.
Perhaps. And of course, the street fight. The street fight was wild. So yeah, man. And it was Taker's first real world title win. And that's the other thing that stands out is Taker's pose at the end.
Yeah.
Memorable moment. Really
they use that all the time. That's it.
Yep. Memorable moment, really cool. But everything, the Brett part and then Taker part, and everything in between is forgettable.
All right, my number 3, it's been mentioned, Cena Miz at 27. Yeah, again, to kind of piggyback on what everybody else was saying, this is only just to build up Cena Rock for the next year, and the Miz was just there because, well, Cena needs to work with somebody. And yeah, the fact that the Miz at this point in his career main evented a WrestleMania, it still makes me scratch my head. But I mean, if it was like 4 or 5 years later, I would definitely see the Miz being the main event. But in 2011, not so much. I mean, he was slowly getting better, but he was still not there quite yet. He wouldn't really reach his peak of a character until actually the next year in the summer when he started doing the movie star gimmick, the best gimmick he's ever had, and he still got going to this day. So really, he started to hit his stride as a character in the summer of 2012. And then his matches started to get better and better each year. Like, hell, his match with Ray at SummerSlam that year was really fucking good. But I digress. Yeah, and then, of course, Miz getting concussed didn't help this match at all either. So, yeah, I just can't get over the fact this match actually happened. When you look at, like, everything, Taker Triple H should have gone last. That's just me. James?
My number 3's already been mentioned. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 34. Fuck that match.
Scott?
My number 3, again, already been mentioned. WrestleMania 16, the 4-way. Why the fuck do you have a heel go over in the main event of WrestleMania? I don't care who it is. I don't care who he's related to. It doesn't make any fucking sense business-wise. So
going back to Brock and Roman, that was another problem with Brock and Roman.
Bad move. Yep. Yeah, that's why I put it so high on my list. It's like one of the secret rules, the unwritten rules should be biggest show of the year, biggest main event of the year, biggest payoff of the year. They're all supposed to go together like that. Biggest payoff ain't going to be the heel going over. End of story.
Correct.
There you go.
Number 3, you mentioned it. WrestleMania 27. Cena Miz. I'm upset.
Steve.
All right, concluding the portion of the I was there memorial listing of worst Mania main event match. You guys had it so early, but I have it so late. Roman Reigns versus Undertaker. I was there. I was so fucking upset with this match. I left early, and I did not even see Undertaker's last ride. That's how bad it was. I'm like, no, I don't like it. I left as soon as the gong went off. As soon as I hit my fucking car. That's how bad it was. I left early. I didn't even knew what went on until the day after until I saw they were doing the whole gifts of the Tad. I'm like, fuck. Did I watch his last match? And it turns out I didn't, because then I was there for the Taker versus Cena match. So
there you go.
Walter.
Were we number 3? Already mentioned by Ricky. From what I'm seeing, it's a few people's number ones. Hulk Hogan and Sid Vicious, WrestleMania 8. Hulk Hogan's last hurrah. How do you fuck it up? That's pretty much all I got. How do you fuck it up?
So now number 2, Sid Undertaker at Mania 13. I mean, it's just so many problems with this. Granted, everything got fucked up thanks to the whole Vince Russo Vic Venom Livewire segment where he predicted Bret Hart would win the Rumble match, and then from that it was like, okay, we need to change shit up now because we just did that. And then of course everything that happened heading in, with Shawn and Bret and Austin, Taker, Vader, Final Four and all that stuff. Really the biggest problem with this match was there was no story heading into the match between the two. The closest thing you got to any story was the go home. Taker confronts Sid, and then during the cage match with Sid and Bret, Taker tries to help Sid win, while Austin tries to help Bret win, so one of their matches could be for the belt. And then they brawl, all 4 of them brawl at the end, and that was really all you had for a story, so really nothing. And really the reason why this match is bad isn't really Taker or Sid's fault. It was just the match went longer than it should have. It had to follow arguably the best match in company history, not just WrestleMania history, and a really good street fight. And hell, before the match even starts, Sid's turned babyface. They turned Sid babyface before the match started because he powerbombed Bret, and then they go out there and have a stinker of a match. And then of course the one thing everybody wanted was for Undertaker to walk out of the show as champion, and they couldn't even get that right because they tainted that to hell when they had Bret come out, interfere, and give the jawjacker to Sid into the tombstone. But at the end of the day, we got what we wanted, and that was Taker getting the belt. And as James will probably mention too, after all the shit Taker had to put up with in the years before, he had more than earned another run with the belt at that time. So that's the only reason why this prevents this match from being number 1, is the fact we got Taker getting the belt again. James?
Yeah, I mean, Undertaker Sid at first off, lowest bought WrestleMania in history.
Yes.
So if we're talking business, it belongs in the top couple. But just everything about this, no story, no really reason to care other than Undertaker's winning the belt. We all forget, Shawn was on commentary for this, and it's forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It just... You turn Sid babyface beforehand, and you don't even get a clean finish.
Yeah.
Happy to see Taker win the belt for his first real run with the belt.
Yes.
Because, he had a 6-day run, but do you even count that as a run?
Scott?
My number 2 has already been mentioned earlier on, but it's high on my list. It's the Bret Yoko, Hogan Yoko situation there, because, like I said with WrestleMania 7 with Hogan and Slaughter, where I started my list, it's like they tried the deal with Warrior, didn't work. Let's go back to what we know works. Put the belt on Hogan. Now we've moved a little bit more down the line here, time-wise. Brett's working as champion. Why go through this whole bullshit with Hogan and put the belt back on him when it's pointless? It doesn't do anything. Thanks, Brett. See you later. You know, the original vanilla midget, I guess you could say, in the world of the wrestling right there. Because the big guy's just going to say, sorry, dude, you ain't worth it. You ain't drawing shit. So let me have the belt, brother. I'll get you back there. And we see where that goes. It just ends the show on a bad note. It just completely deflates the audience. It's like, oh, again? We're doing this again now? Oh, okay. Yay. Yep. I'm supposed to be happy, I guess. This is... Yay. Where's the internet when I need it? You know, that whole thing. So it's like...
That was a definite internet moment, for sure.
If Twitter existed in 1993...
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Cancel Hulk. Hashtag cancel Hulkamania.
Oh yeah.
Cancel viewers' choice.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man. Cancel
that's
MTV.
number 2.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Ricky, anything you want to add on that since it's your number 2 as well?
Nope. Scott said everything has to be said. I'm like, oh, really? Really? Really?
Really?
And then made both Brett and Yoko look like chumps.
Totally
Exactly.
buried them. That's actually burying them.
Like, you could have let Yoko have a great run. I mean, become a monster, but no. Hogan had to fucking...
Well, hell, originally, if Hogan didn't come back, Brett was going to retain the belt.
Brett was supposed to win, yeah.
Because Brett was going to work with the Narcissist during the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, because they were starting that up on the...
They started that at the brunch. The day of Mania, Luger knocked Brett out, and nothing came from that.
Yep, not a thing. He's wrestling perfect again. So
yeah. Steve.
All right. Number 2, since we're out of the I was there moment, these are the moments where I wasn't there, and luckily, I thank God I wasn't there because it could be Sid versus Taker. No, sorry. Shawn Michaels being hopped up on pills on commentary is not a good thing.
Oh God!
God!
And then Brett coming in to turn the tides on Sid because he beat him for the title in the cage match because frustrated is the goddamn word for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
And somehow Brett and Undertaker were friends all those years, and their friendship is over.
Right.
Yeah.
When you slam the door on my face, you slam the door on our friendship, and there's a new set of rules
between you and me.
Okay, yeah, that long ass friendship, like Hogan, Beefcake, Undertaker, Brett, same thing.
Maybe they rolled dice backstage. Maybe Brett was.
They were playing dominoes.
Yeah,
playing dominoes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Dominoes. That's right.
Yep.
Maybe he was the honorary member of the BCC.
The BCC. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Walter?
My number 2, I was there. WrestleMania 36, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar. Actually, no, I wasn't there. Already been mentioned before. You have no crowd. You have a pissed off, unmotivated Brock Lesnar who just wants to fucking drop the belt and go home. Fuck you. Okay. Bad recipe. Recipe for disaster. And it's disappointing because of the circumstances behind that WrestleMania. And granted, everyone else on that show tried their damnedest to make it as good of a Mania as it could be. Mm-hmm. Charlotte and Rhea tore it up. AJ and Taker, of course, they weren't in the pandemic. Everyone gave it their best.
Cena and Bray.
Yep.
What's that?
Cena and Bray.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we ended on that note. We ended on that note with Drew getting his big WrestleMania moment in front of nobody. Yeah. And although I know it's not going to happen this year, he's got Happy Corbin, but from what I heard, they're going to start getting him back into the world title picture after Mania. I really hope we do eventually see Drew get his moment because he's fucking worked hard.
That's what I think.
They're doing the pay-per-view in the UK.
Yep, that's what they're working for.
That's the moment.
So.
Yep.
But now it's time for number one. My number one.
Now.
I was there. Mania 30. Nah, I'm
No.
not gonna, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't.
With a straight face, he couldn't even do it.
I couldn't even do it. But
no, I think
number
four
one,
of us. I think four of us have this match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hogan
Yeah.
versus Sid, WrestleMania
Sid.
8.
And it's
the only main
unfortunate.
event in WrestleMania history to end non-conclusively.
Right.
That's
The
first
DQ.
off.
That's first.
Yeah, and like, I feel bad for Sid because on my list he's in the top two. Both of his Mania main events, and they were both stinkers.
But both his Mania matches. He had two WrestleMania matches. Both were the main events, and both were the fucking
horrible.
shits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
So
like,
who
especially with
all had
this. Was it Walter?
Who all had that?
I did, James, Scott, and
Steve.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Ricky and I
Yep.
each have a different number one. Mine's already been mentioned though.
Okay.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah,
but yeah,
the
it's
Q
like,
happens. Yeah, there's just
and also
so
of
much
course,
bad
and of course, like it starts off cool. You know, Hogan runs in and just goes crazy on Sid, and then rips the shirt off, and then they do the same exact spot afterwards. And then after that, it's like, okay, what do we do here? And then
The power bomb.
yeah, and then the fucking finish where Hogan leg drop. 1, 2, where's Shango? Kick out! And the
out.
commentators sandbag it because that was not meant to happen. And if you look at that was the first time anybody ever kicked out of the leg drop, but again, sandbag because that wasn't supposed to happen. Whippleman comes up and Hogan's like, what happened? I don't know. Shango missed.
Whippleman's trying to get
Whippleman's
trying to get the referee's attention there at that spot because he knows he's like, where the fuck is he? Ref, look at me,
Ref,
and trying to
over
save him
here.
And
from
then they
the
call a
kick out.
DQ for no reason.
reason.
Yeah. And then,
It's like,
like
shit,
Whippleman.
fucking call the bell, call the bell.
Yeah, like Whippleman, Hogan, what do we do? Let's start fighting. And then Shango comes out with the, oh, I have done fucked up face.
Fucked up. Yeah.
And
Yep.
then
Oh shit.
beat down, and then
I'm
Warrior
gonna be a
gets
lollygags in the ring.
imposed.
I'm gonna be a
Hogan
supreme
and-
fighting machine in a couple of years.
Yep.
Vince's reaction backstage. We wouldn't know because Pritchard wasn't there. Pritchard was at Global at that time.
That's right. Yeah, he was. He was
Yeah,
gone.
so
This is
we
that
have-
2-year period where he's gone.
We have no
Mhm.
account of how Vince responded to that.
Yeah,
I'm
because
pretty
you can
sure
imagine.
he was fucking fuming.
What the
Oh, yeah.
fuck?
Yep. Bad timing on the Shango run in, and then Warriors music hits, the crowd pops, and then you see him.
And this started the rumor of the fake warrior.
The fake,
Yeah.
he died, and this was a different guy because he didn't look the same. Short hair, slimmed down. Like, wait a minute, that's Warrior.
This is Warrior?
That's Warrior. What's up? Is that Renegade? No, is that Warrior? What the fuck? That doesn't make no. Why did Savage Flair? Can you go on again?
Again,
Or
and,
hell,
and it
even
had to
Brett
follow
Favre.
that.
Where's
Mhm.
Tito and Shawn?
Like,
Oh, Tito and
freaking,
Shawn was great too. Yeah, really.
you had Savage and Flair in the middle of the show, and it peaked.
Yes.
That was it. That should have been
The main
last
event, the
match
actual.
should have been-
Well, okay, technically they build the show as a double main event,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
Flair almost got his
Yeah.
ass fired that night too.
If we get a double main event, then I'm dating a porn star right now. Oh shit, that doesn't happen.
oh, what's his name?
It's like when people
Fuck
say,
you.
You love
It's
to
like,
wide open
dude,
for me.
not
You
that
love
there's
to wide
anything
open for
wrong
me.
with that.
No, I'm just asking.
it's like when people, it's like when,
His name is Jeffree Star.
Oh.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! That's
it's like
brother.
when people say, I like to watch NASCAR for the racing. Yeah, I like to watch porn for the acting. You liar!
You liar! I
And
broke
Steve was
Levi.
not there for that. Steve was
Why?
not
No, he
there
was
for
not.
that.
Why do
I
do
read
this
Playboy
to
for the
myself?
articles.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
But no, Hogan Sid
Again.
was just.
Yeah. Steve, what do you have to say about it? We've been rambling about it.
We're number one, right? So
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So.
So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna break a trend. I'm gonna have a tie for number one.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
This is a call. This is what I call the Hogan back-to-back fuck you matches. So I'm both having the Hogan's matches with Justice and Yokozuna. I count Yokozuna versus Hogan as a main event, not Brett versus Yoko. So
Yeah, because that's the main event. Yeah. That's my number one, by the way. Also, is Hogan and Yoko.
Everything's been talked about Hogan versus Yoko. Everything's been talked about Sid versus Hogan. So all I have is 2 words for them: fuck you.
Yeah. There you go.
And
succinctly put.
Hogan wins the belt, and what does he do? He goes off to fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling without Vince's permission, takes the belt without Vince's permission, brings the belt.
Shits on the belt.
Takes the belt to the Tokyo Dome to wrestle Buddha without Vince's permission, and shits on the belt at the press conference.
Yep.
It's a toy. It's a trinket on a Christmas tree. The real belt that matters is the belt that the great Muda has, the IWGP Championship.
Yep.
All right, well, Ricky.
Which Vince realized this was a bad idea, so thankfully the belt went back on Yoko.
So, Ricky, what do you have? What's the odd man out?
My argument for having the Lawrence Taylor Bam Bam Bigelow match at number 1 is when you look at throughout all of WrestleMania main events, some of the best: Taker, Shawn, Triple H, I don't know, whatever the fuck.
And who? Triple H and who? Triple H and who?
You had a
and then you get
that WrestleMania main event in Apple.
And then you get Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. Something here.
Here's my defense. In my defense, it was the draw of that show.
Oh yeah, yeah. In
the business was.
I will give Lawrence Taylor something. He tried his fucking best for this match.
He worked his ass off. He did really good. I have no problem with it.
To have this match close your main show. I mean, you could have had this match and then have maybe Shawn Diesel or hell, give me the fucking I Quit match between.
No.
Okay, you're talking nonsense.
Now you're talking nonsense. Now you're
reaching. I Quit match.
I know.
You are reaching, Ricky.
But I mean, come on. I mean, this match. I mean, nothing against Bam and Bigelow, one of the greatest big men in history, but just no, just no.
Not your bag.
No.
Oh, and Walter, did you want to speak any more about Hogan and Yoko?
No,
Things been covered.
The Hogan and Yoko portion, not the Brett and Yoko portion.
Yeah, just that part.
So yeah, that was my number 1 worst WrestleMania event. I saw it on TV I was 15 or 14 or whatever, and I saw it. And I'm like Scott's reaction. I'm like, am I supposed to be happy?
Yeah.
Because I was a huge Bret Hart fan at that point. I'm like, it's the same old. I'm like, and I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan. As a little kid growing up, but I was all about Bret Hart at this point, and I'm like, it's kind of like getting a present for Christmas that you already have. It's like,
Mm-hmm. I can remember like having the same reaction to Hogan beating Yoko as when Hogan beat Taker at this Tuesday in Texas to get the belt back. I was kind of like, oh, really? I kind of like him.
Supposed to be happy?
I kind of like him now. Did you? All right, fine. It's just like
I was happy. Taker was a bad guy. I booed bad guys at that.
Yeah, but I fucking love Taker anyway.
And then they took the belt right off of Hogan.
The
day after.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So
now to put together the final 10, I've
been going through and I've actually made a 10 combined of all our things here. I have it here. So because the position will probably change, but you guys tell me what you think. Okay. Just listening to everybody's list, and these are the ones that pretty much all of us had on our list, minus 1 or 2 matches.
Maybe 1 or 2, yeah.
Yep. So number 1, Hogan Sid.
Yes.
Yeah.
The majority of us had that at number 1. Majority of us had that at number 1.
That match. Yeah.
Number 2, the Hogan Yoko thing, because that again, a lot of us had that. Every one of us had that at least on their list at some point.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I was gonna say maybe that should be 3 because a lot of us had Sid Taker at 2.
I had that as number 3. So swap the 2. Swap them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just make the swap here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought that those would be the unanimous top 3.
All right. So that's
Sid,
number 3 and 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sid is 1 and 2. Sid is 1 and 2 on our list.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, 25, Triple H, Orton.
Yeah.
Number 5, WrestleMania 16, the 4-way.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 6, Cena, Miz, 27.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. 7 is one that I did not have, but you guys, I think everyone else had it, so I think it makes sense. Triple H, Roman, 32.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 8, one that I did not have, but I think all you guys had it again, 34, Roman, Brock.
Right.
I didn't have it on my list.
I didn't have it either.
I didn't have it either.
I actually forgot about that match, to be honest.
Me too.
It's like I forgot about Triple H and Randy. I don't know if I put it on there, but I forgot about it.
Oh, there you go. See, that's another indication of how bad it was the main event. You don't remember it, like I did with Taker and Sid. Number 9, 33, Roman and Taker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And number 10, Jericho, Triple H at 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
swap.
I was going to say maybe
9 and
Hogan
10.
Slaughter.
No,
no.
I had it on my list, but I don't think it's worse. I don't think it's worse than this match.
I didn't have it on my list.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the list.
I'm okay with the list.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm satisfied with the list.
All right, so the final conglomerate top 10 worst main events in history. Number 10, WrestleMania 18, Chris Jericho versus Triple H, i.e. Triple H versus Stephanie with Jericho in the ring for her. Number 9, WrestleMania 33, Roman Taker, where Taker tries to do everything he can to put Roman over and he can't do it anymore. Number 8, WrestleMania 34, the main event many of us forgot, Roman versus Brock, because it's just, Number 7, WrestleMania 32, the shitty fucking crowd and the long-ass match that didn't need to be long from a very long WrestleMania. He was there, Triple H versus Roman. Number 6, WrestleMania 27, the throwaway to set up WrestleMania 28, Cena versus Miz with The Rock. Number 5, WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 16, WrestleMania 2016, whatever you want to call it, the 4-way and the main event where the heel wins for the first time. Dumb. Number 4, WrestleMania 25, Randy Orton versus Triple H. The match is still going on right now, I think it is. It's taking way too freaking long for this match to fucking finish, and they couldn't follow Shawn and Taker anyway, but they tried too much. Number 3, Hogan Yoko, the portion of the match that happens after Brett and Yoko, because what the fuck. Number 2, WrestleMania 13, the main event I forgot that everyone else pretty much had, Undertaker versus Sid. And number 1, worst main event in WrestleMania history, WrestleMania 8, Hulk Hogan versus Sid with a DQ finish with the biggest match of the year, which is supposed to main event the biggest show of the year, and you ended on a fucking DQ for no fucking reason. So, there you go. Sid, we apologize, but what can we do? It's your fault, not ours.
I'm only half a man, half a brain dude.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's not really paying attention because he's got those injuries from softball, you know?
Oh, yeah, the
I don't
softball.
know
Yes.
shit,
He jumped off the middle rope and snapped his leg like a
That's
twig.
right.
Oh God! Ugh.
My leg!
God damn it!
Yeah, but just Slim Jim.
Yeah.
God damn!
But,
you gotta change your offense a little bit.
The last time I saw
Yeah,
something
fucking thing.
was when Phoenix went through the table with Luchasaurus. That was the
Yeah,
only
that was brutal.
Like I thought
Only a
it's like,
dislocated
oh
elbow
shit, he did it.
somehow.
He sit it, but he did it with his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only a dislocated elbow, which is incredible.
He hasn't back yet, though. I don't think he is.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he's still out.
That top 10 has taken us almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And we still got a lot to talk
We
about.
still got a lot to talk
Well,
about here. So
yeah, so...
let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Well, let's
do it.
see. So, hang on. Let's see. So, now that we talked, like, worst main events, and to kind of answer up with my buddy Mean Metal Mike, what would you say now, aside from main events, some of the worst matches in Mania period? I think we can all agree Brock Goldberg at 20 would be...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the worst. Probably the worst, just for the mere fact that
It's,
at least
it's the worst hyped match. It's the worst hype match in WrestleMania history.
Well, here's my argument. Well, here's my argument for why I would say that's the worst Mania match, period. At least with these 10 matches we have on the main events list and some of the other bad ones, there was at least effort. No effort was given in this match. So, because
Zero fucks
nobody
given.
gave a shit.
Yep.
Other ones...
once again, you have angry, unmotivated Brock, which is a mess, and then you have angry, unmotivated Goldberg, which is worse. So that was.
And Austin even talked about how he wanted to start running the ropes to get the crowd popping because Bobby Eaton did that a lot.
Scott and I were talking about that when it happened. We're like, you know what? Steve Austin was the one who ended up going over in that match.
Yes.
Yep.
He was.
He's the most over guy in the match, and he wins in the end anyway. He's done to everybody.
And we also call it the official end to the Monday Night War.
Yeah,
pretty much.
The big dream match when we were growing up in the late '90s, there was shirts like Austin versus Goldberg, make it happen, and yet Austin Goldberg in the ring for the first and only time ever, and
and they went in as friends, because that was he gave him the ticket, for No Way Out and all that stuff.
Other bad Mania matches, of course. Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler.
You can't have
that should
have
been 90 seconds at best.
Yes.
Yep.
And instead it's 15 of just suffering.
I would like to also include the missed WrestleMania Battle Royal where Santino won.
That was 25, wasn't it? 25?
That was 25.
Yeah.
It's anybody. They all came out to Kid Rock, and Kid Rock is another bad recipe for wrestling. So.
Oh God, ridiculous. This match gets put on everyone.
Gonzalez, Undertaker, Bundy.
Bundy. Uncle Elmer, Adrian Adonis from WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, it was.
That's just wow. That's just so
Bart
bad.
Gunn, Butterbean.
Mysterio, Samoa Joe. He was so short.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bretton Backlund from 11.
Yes.
Backlund, yep.
What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?
I think versus what was it?
Melina from 23. Yeah. I took a piss during that match because I was there.
24.
There you go.
Woman. Going back to 36, Goldberg and Braun. That wasn't all that great either.
No, that wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
That was
26, the 8-woman tag team match.
That Vicky Guerrero won.
With Vicky? Yeah, Vicky was not good in that. I mean, God bless her, she tried, but
she tried. I mean, also from 26. And also from 26, Brett Vince.
Yeah. That was just a squash.
That was a pointless squash. I will say one thing. I mean, I don't want to put this, but I have to. Probably Bray Randy.
Bray Randy at WrestleMania.
Oh, House of Horrors match?
No,
night 2 last year.
Last year.
Oh, last year.
Last year. I mean, as much as
it wasn't
Randy and Bray at 33 was worse.
The House of Horrors match,
No, when Randy won the title and you had all those imageries, they hit
imageries.
I
kind of liked it. What else is there?
Brock and Ambrose from 32.
Yeah.
Yes, Brock and Ambrose. Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bad one.
Which one? Which one?
Brock and Ambrose from 32. The Anything Goes match there. That was bad. Yep. Totally underwhelming.
Corbin versus Ambrose for the Intercontinental in the pre-show.
I didn't think that match was bad. Corbin Kurt at 35. That was bad.
Yeah.
It was
quick.
Yeah. Going back to Ambrose and Brock, though, considering we know Ambrose's backstory and some of the problems he was going through, I kind of understand Brock shooting down a lot of the ideas.
Oh yeah, totally.
And then again, Brock had to focus on a UFC return. He had a couple months later. Risk getting hurt. I will say, I'm looking at some of the comments, like Undertaker, Big Show, A-Train. Yeah.
Undertaker, Boss Man in the Hell in a Cell.
That was
15.
Bad.
Yep, that's bad.
Now, some of these that Mean Mel Mike brought up, I will highly disagree with. Like Rusev, Cena 31. I thought that was really good.
It's great.
No, that was great.
That was really good.
That was one of the best matches on that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fucking good.
Yeah, that was awesome,
dude,
man. That was a great match.
Out in a tank.
Yeah.
It came out in a tank. When you come out in a tank, that's automatically one of the best matches of the night.
Anything that comes out in a tank is immediately over.
Yeah. And then also he brought up from 31, and I think I know the reason why he said it. Sting, Triple H. I get it. Sting should have won, but the match itself was really good.
Match is fine.
That was
There's no
good.
match.
Another good
match.
one.
I was there.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was
Yeah.
good. Velvet McIntyre, Fabulous Moolah, WrestleMania 2.
Oh, what a match!
Oh yeah, 5-star. 5-star.
How about Henry Cattell versus Demolition? Fucking
Dude, oh my god.
How
Legend
about
from Japan, and his only match is like some little blip for WrestleMania.
And that was right before Katow and Earthquake had their shoot.
Oh, that's right.
That was a top
Even
guy.
though-
He was.
Having Cattell there was at that time was equivalent
Was
to like
huge.
having Okada.
Yeah, that was huge. Yep. At the
the
time
League of
there.
Nations versus the New Day.
At 32.
Well,
the
yeah,
only
look
thing
what
you
happens
remember
after.
is Austin and the Legends
I mean,
coming
Right,
out.
that
yeah.
was good.
So
The
that
ending was
that's
fine,
good.
but
Big Show versus
Matt-
Sakabono. Big Show versus Sakabono.
Big Show
Yeah.
and Akibono, yes.
That
Big
was
Show
bad.
and
That's horrible.
Mankind at 15 to see who would be the referee in the main event.
Yep. That was
That was bad.
Crown champion Akabono.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Shane was there.
Oh, and then Mike, I like you, dude, but come on, Miz and Shane at 35. That was really good too.
That was fine.
That was.
Listen, Shane was fine.
And the
Fucking
fucking
crazy
finish
match.
was cool.
Yeah, the fucking
finish
huge
was cool. The
suplex there.
suplex
Come
off
on.
of the thing
That was
and Shane
fine.
with his arm on top. That was a good.
Uh,
Damn it.
Harley Race, Junkyard Dog, WrestleMania 3.
Yeah,
That was bad.
Except for the
I'm actually trying to think of some older ones.
Yeah. Yep.
I just remembered the opening Four Corners elimination match at 13. That was bad.
Oh,
Dude, the
Oh,
opener to
God.
WrestleMania 2, Morocco and
Morocco and Orndorff, yes. Yep. That's there. Killer Bees versus Volkov and Cheek, WrestleMania 3, right before Hogan and Andre.
Yeah.
Throwaway
Duggan,
match,
yeah.
nobody cared. With Duggan doing the run-in.
Lower Vince Talbot. I mean, Jim Duggan.
What up, Vince?
And then Mike asked me whenever I went to 30, was there a bad match at 30? Really, no. I mean, the
No.
least memorable match
No.
was the Shield Outlaws Kane 6-man tag.
That was a
And that was still
squash.
good.
And that was a
That was still
squash.
good. Yeah, and that's fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
30 was
Divas title
Right back
match,
with
yeah,
the-
but then again, that was Divas match standards before the NXT.
And that had to
ladies came
follow
out.
the streak ending.
That
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, good
But
luck.
Other than that, yeah, you had Brian
What
Triple
about
H and
Ryback
an
versus
amazing
Mark Henry?
What's that, Steve?
Ryback,
versus
Mark Henry.
Ryback, Mark Henry. That was okay from
mean-
29.
Alright.
That was okay.
Actually,
It's
that
alright.
reminds me
I
of
like the
something.
build up to it.
That reminds me of something. That actually reminded me of something. Kind of going back to 29 a little bit with Rock Cena. Maybe instead of them having Cena win the Rumble, what if they would have given Ryback the Rumble win and win the World Heavyweight title from Big Show? I think that would have been better.
Could have done that.
They
Yeah,
could
would've
have
been
done
fine.
that, and could you imagine
At the
seeing-
time.
At the time, could you have seen Ryback doing the shell shock to Big Show? That would have been awesome.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah,
would have been a
would've
good
been-
way, and that would have been a good way to kind of revitalize the Ryback character after
Mm.
the Punk show.
That would have been a big deal, but Ryback is a piece of shit to Triple H, so fuck Ryback. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which, speaking of Triple H,
Yeah,
now
should we
let's
move
talk
into this
about-
subject now?
we get
Yeah.
into this subject. Yeah,
The big news.
I think safe to say we all kind of saw that coming after.
Yeah.
we know.
Oh,
yeah.
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 But just hearing about what the story actually is and getting the whole story instead of just the rumors and innuendo we've been fed for a while now, like then it's like, okay. Sorry, we assumed too much, sir. We apologize. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that annoyed me was all the internet's like, oh, he some of the assholes are like, oh, well, he's getting thrown out of the company by the family because they're sick. Look what they did to NXT Black and Gold. I
80.
don't do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking
You know?
JD.
Yeah,
dude,
JD. Yeah.
What was also it's not as fucked up, but it's almost as fucked up as when people were saying what's going on with Brody Lee.
Mm.
And it was a similar situation.
Yeah.
Triple H was
It's
sick.
very similar. Yep.
Yeah, very similar. Thankfully, it did not take the unfortunate turn of events that Brody Lee took.
Thank God.
Mhm.
All right.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing when Brody Lee was disappeared from TV. All these assholes are like, "Oh, well, why is he being taken off television?" I bet you, he's not. They're just having him sit in catering and all. No. Andrade sits in catering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at pictures of his girl. So
Actually, no. Andrade has been active in AEW. He just doesn't win.
No.
But he's being used better.
so much better.
Here's my thing, and this is my conclusion with NXT or former WWE talent that's brought over to AEW. They have an amazing run in NXT, fantastic run in NXT, subpar to non-existent run in the main roster, and then they go to AEW and it's kind of in between. It's not as good as NXT. It's better than the main roster, but it's nowhere near as memorable as their NXT. Andrade, Malachi Black, Sean Spears work. Sean Spears should have stayed in the main roster and got to work with Randy Orton. Now he's just a moron with a chair.
Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
Undisputed Era. Yeah.
It's too early for those guys yet to say so. Cole's main evented already, so he's in the title picture now.
Yay. What does that matter? He's not worth it. So.
FTR.
Mm-hmm.
FTR. My God.
But so what else in the week of wrestling?
Well, the main event, the card. We gotta talk about predictions.
Oh yes,
WrestleMania's next week. Yeah,
let me actually pull.
There's a lot to that.
The greatest long-term story will be finished when Iron Sheik makes it to the ring.
So I got the card right
he
here.
Finally, after
right
21 years, he finally makes it to the ring for the gimmick battle royal.
He shows up to the ring.
So,
exactly. Yep.
So yeah, I got the card for next week, Mania 38. Right. So 9-1.
But it's not done. I don't think it's done. I think they're still adding to the show.
They probably are.
They might, but as of now, so we got 11 matches total, 5 for night 1, 6 for night 2. So night 1, we got Becky and Bianca, Raw Women's title. I say they give it to Bianca here.
Bianca's my call. Yeah, I want to see that. Be a great story.
Yeah, Bianca's got to take it. Good storytelling.
Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Bianca. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Then we got the Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul.
We lost somebody. We lost Walter. We lost Walter.
Oh,
oh shit! Somebody took out Walter.
Oh god!
Was Gunther? Gunther took him out.
I wonder if his phone died.
That probably is what it is.
Gunther ran in to take his name back.
But the Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul. Mysterios.
I'm hoping.
Okay. I would have said that Mysterios a week ago, but now that they had Dominic a bit in NXT, I'm thinking, what if, like I said,
there he is.
They kind of put Dominic back to go to NXT.
Gunther run in to get his name back.
No, there's still one more. He's just got involved with NXT last week, and there's still one more week until WrestleMania happens. So I don't think they just needed more star power, just like how they needed Ziggler and Roode on there. So I don't think that's possible until maybe after Mania. Possibly he'll stay with NXT, but I don't think.
But
Mysterios.
Yeah,
probably.
Honestly, I think Dominic should become a fixture in NXT.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Granted, he's had a hell of a run in the main roster, and he's doing pretty well for himself over there. He's having the best education any wrestler could possibly get. But if he goes to NXT, I think he'll grow and develop even further.
Yep. And they should make that part of the story. He loses the match at WrestleMania, and he's like, I'm sorry, Dad. I've let you all down. I need to get better. And boom, I'm going down to NXT to try and improve myself. And it all becomes about him trying to get better and better, work up the card. And he gets up, he gets taken down, he gets up, he gets taken down, and go from there.
I think he turns on Ray after they win. And he becomes a whole different person on NXT.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. My take on that match, though, I think Logan Paul is going to impress people. I think we're going to see, because here's the thing. Yes, Logan Paul's a douchebag and an asshole, but he's also an athlete, and he also is determined. All right, I think Logan Paul is actually.
And this is his second WrestleMania appearance.
Yep, I think Logan Paul is going to impress a lot of people with his ability in the ring. I think he'll do all right for a celebrity wrestler.
And then Drew versus Corbin. Drew.
Yeah,
Drew. Move on.
They're getting Drew ready for a main event run again.
They're getting them ready to go back at Roman, which would be perfect.
Yes.
He's going to squash Corbin and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the SmackDown Tag Title match of Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs. This one can go either way. Now that I think about it, because they could easily give the belts. They could easily give the belts to Nakamura and Boogs because that combo is so cool.
I say why not? Yeah, they're old.
I'd say why not give them the belts? I'd say
the belts don't really matter anyway. So what the hell?
Yeah,
No.
I mean they could do that, and then later the night, Vince be like, "Why you lose? Why you lost?" That's like fucking up with my psyche. You know, my cousin.
Because he's main event next night. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve's a Nakamura guy. I want to hear his take on it.
I want him to win the tag team championships for the third time, I think.
Because it'd be such a feel-good moment, too, because they're
would.
likable duo.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a likable duo of those two.
Yeah.
And two
They
completely
are.
different style of workers. You know, Nakamura strong style and Boogs that more kind of like Chad Gable style.
Mm-hmm.
The thing of
Straight
it
up
is,
old school.
The only thing that's holding me back for wanting Nakamura and Boogs to win is just that you have so many good guys winning on night one. I just think there has to be
That's
one
true.
portion where you have.
That's why I said this could go either way.
With all my heart,
actually
I want Nakamura and Boogs to win, but I think it's going to be the Usos.
I think it's
You
probably
can
going
tell
to be Usos.
He's having so much fun out there. I mean, I honestly do not see him ever returning back to New Japan because he likes it in the States. He likes the surfing, and he seems to be having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah.
Yep, his family's happy here and everything else. So yeah, you notice how like there's quite a few people now that like you can tell they're having a little more fun nowadays.
Things are like
Randy Orton. You can see he's fucking having a good time now.
Brock
Lesnar, definitely having a good time. He's enjoying himself. Sasha Banks. Sasha's getting to dance with Naomi and just kind of like chill and just have a good time. You can tell she's enjoying this because this ain't her primary gig anymore. So and Boogs with Nakamura and everyone else like seems like people like
commercials. Nakamura and Boogs did trucker commercials.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's like fuck.
And you know what's funny though?
It always seems like that.
When they're relaxed, their ring work is a lot sharper.
Oh yeah.
Lesnar's psychology has never been so on point.
Because if you're having fun in the ring, the audience is going to have fun watching you.
Exactly. And fucking Orton is just so cool, calm, and collected and just having a good time out there. Yep. And yeah, I think, honestly, Vince is starting to let his hair down a little bit with the guys, letting them do what they want. Not complete freedom, but giving them a little more, let them do a little more, and let them shine a little more.
Pat McAfee.
I was just about to
just
say
letting letting him do what he does.
Yep. Yeah. And Austin Theory has been fucking great.
We'll get there.
That gets really good.
We'll get there.
Austin Theory is Sean Carr. They could be
Look-wise, yes, they could be.
Expressions, the promos are the same.
And then the main event. Well, actually, I'm seeing comments right now. If we are getting Rollins and Cody, that'd probably be a night one match.
Well, also the KO show because apparently that's what's going to be the closer.
Right.
Yeah.
But if Cody and Seth are going on, it all depends. What are they going to be on night one, night two?
I'd say night one. I'd say night
one. Yeah.
Because they need more matches for night one right now.
Would you have Cody appear next week or on Mania? On
Mania.
On WrestleMania.
Make it happen.
And of course, if the match happens, Cody's going over.
Yeah.
It might just be like kind of altercation they have. So
it'll be a 4-minute match. Like it'll be like the Taker Cena match at 34. So because I wasn't ready for Cody.
Exactly.
Oh.
Brandy's gonna come out. And tell Seth, "Who the hell told you it was open mic night?"
So, and then to the main event of night one, the SmackDown Women's Title match, Charlotte Ronda, I think, gets the belt here.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
I'm not feeling Ronda this time.
Me
I'm
neither.
not feeling
Me
either
neither.
one,
I'm
but
not
Yeah.
feeling it.
I feel
I'm not
like
feeling it.
Charlotte's gonna win.
I mean,
That's
at
where
the same
I'm kind of
token,
in the Charlotte thing, because
at the same-
Ronda didn't beat Charlotte, so it's kind of like it's open ended. Either
Also,
one
we
can
need
go.
heels to win on this show.
Yep.
Charlotte,
well,
Look.
Charlotte goes over.
If this was Becky Ronda, Becky would have
Ronda
won.
would win.
yeah.
But Ronda would
well,
win the win back.
Well, see,
That's why it's not.
my whole argument of why I think Ronda wins is because why would you bring her back to win the Rumble and not put the belt on her?
Yeah.
Mm.
And besides, you can also, if you put the belt on Ronda, kind of like what they're doing with Brock Roman, start setting up Becky Ronda to unify the women's titles.
Not to mention, if Ronda wins, Bailey returns WrestleMania Monday or on Smack or
On Raw.
And-
Raw.
and
Yeah.
start-
Raw
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Return.
Because Bailey's got to come back, yeah.
Bailey's due
Mhm.
to come back, and I believe Asuka is due to come back as well too.
And
If she
please,
ever does.
Ronda
Mm.
Asuka.
Eventually,
Yeah, see.
I will love that match eventually. I mean, come on.
Yep.
But that's
Well, that's
all
night
night
one.
one. So night two, so we got
Okay.
a fatal four-way for the women's tag titles. Shayna and Natalya. When the hell did they become a team?
A couple of weeks
The
ago.
king, the queen
Oh,
of both
Yes,
the hearts
Selena,
and-
Carmella, Sasha, Naomi, and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
I want
Ripley,
Rhea and
Liv Morgan.
Ripley and Liv
Liv.
Morgan, man.
I guess
Give
I'll
Liv the
yeah.
moment.
Ripley
Not for
Morgan.
nothing, but with the exception of the Iconics, there has not been a tag team that hasn't been thrown together in the women's division.
No.
It's
Yeah.
the
that's
Iconics were the only ones that were established.
And that's why I want Ripley and Liv together because I want everyone to have that feel good Liv moment.
Yes.
I
Not
think
to
that's what everybody
mention,
wants to see.
not to mention, Rhea Ripley. Thank you for retweeting my tweet a couple of weeks ago.
How sweet of her!
That's nice. That's
Good
awesome.
girl. I
Love that. Love
I
that.
love her. I love Shotzi
Yes.
too. We need Shot. I wish
Yes.
Shotzi
we need more
Yes.
Shotzi.
More
Shotzi. I want to love her. In the
Give me
bottom.
Shotzi, give me Morgan, give me Ripley, give me Bailey right
Mhm.
fucking now.
Right here.
I would say give me
Right
Ty
here.
Conti, but after like I'm kind of
No, we don't need Ty Conti
No,
anymore.
no.
Sorry. No. Damaged goods.
You got Sammy. Ugh.
Damaged goods.
Which it's
Yeah.
like, look, who hasn't fucked on a belt in the past?
Yeah, I know. Come on. Yeah, who has it?
It's like the Dome Globe and the Big Gold. They have a lot of stories.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
There's a
Winged
lot of
Eagle-
stains on those things. A lot of stains on there too.
Sean and Sonny probably fucked on the European title after one
Oh,
night
God.
only.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh yeah. And a lot of blow on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
for the original NXT Women's title was a cum catcher.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
it was.
Yep. It was a cumbrella.
Fucking Sean posts for Playgirl with the winged eagle on his dick.
What does that tell you?
Oh,
What'd you say, Walt?
Toss the TSW title.
Oh yes, Austin. The fucking Don't bring that up, please. Oh God, bad
Yeah,
memories.
you got the TSW title on to fuck my wife.
Anyways,
So it's like, oh, it's such a big deal. It's not a big deal. And
no.
who the fuck hasn't?
But by the way, Sammy, when you're banging Tay, are you thinking of Sasha?
Yeah, are you?
And if they ever
Are you?
break up, that photo is going to be awkward.
Oh, they're gonna break up. They will. It's gonna be hilarious.
I'm really intrigued to see the Tay Conti shoot interview with.
It's gonna be
Hannibal.
great. Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. Hmm.
I'm really intrigued to see Sammy. Actually, honestly, if any of them get let go, I could see TK letting Sammy go. It's like, dude, how many times are you gonna make us look bad?
Fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a guy I'm not the biggest Sammy Guevara fan. I think honestly, I think he's sloppy. Honestly, in the ring, I think his
Nothing
promos
special.
are very indie worker-ish. I think A-Kid is like the proper way Sammy Guevara. A-Kid is like good Sammy Guevara. That's the way I see him. The real Spanish god, A-Kid. The guy that Regal wrestled on UK.
Mhm.
So next up,
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway.
so next up, the Anything Goes match: Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Dude,
Yeah,
this is
that's
going to be
gonna
fun.
This is gonna be a fun match.
You know
And-
it's gonna be it's going to be segmented. It's going to be an overbooked ECW style mess.
Yes,
With
it's
the
going
Jackass,
to be.
Yep.
It's going to be.
What we
And-
probably
and-
should have had at SummerSlam 07, we're going to get here.
And I told you last week, if we do not see Steve O come out in El Generico garb, fuck this match. Because that has to happen. We need that, and we need Terry Funk to be in this match somehow. To be the
Knoxville's entrance.
Wheelchair and slam him into
Please, I got it. Knoxville's entrance, like Jackass 1 with a big ass cart. I'm Johnny Knoxville, and welcome to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
On that huge
into the
aisle.
ring. Yeah, riding a giant shopping cart down the aisle until he hits the ring.
like Undertaker at WrestleMania 17.
Crazy Sami Zayn or Terry Funk in the shopping cart. I'm Sami Zayn.
Dude, I really
I want a
really
Terry
like-
Funk
I really like
Jackass
what's going on
intro
with
sound.
Sammy.
Oh, God.
Sorry,
What
guys.
was that, Steve?
No, I really love the program that's going on with Sammy in Knoxville. I think they're really.
It's
a lot of
fantastic,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
fun.
fucking good.
It has to be. I think
Great
they
TV.
made the best build of that card
Mm.
out of all the matches. It's the best build because you had a story from the time that
And
they.
kudos to Sammy for actually, going with
Being
Knoxville.
phone number out there,
Especially
yeah.
the whole phone thing. Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Oh, fantastic.
That was
Yep.
great.
Sammy is having the time of his life. Scott, when we were watching Ring of Honor and following Generico and Steen and all
You
that,
never,
no fucking idea. Those two
no idea this would be able to so fucking good. Forget it.
Yeah.
It was never going to happen. And then
Like
now,
Sammy made the right call re-signing.
that's right. They made it
He
work
did.
as
What
well.
would he be doing right now in AEW? No.
Him and Kevin Owens, same thing. What's Kevin Owens doing, for fuck's sake?
Did he join the Dark Order?
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, he's going to be working with his idol.
That's right. And that's, yeah.
I'm always going to remember that Kevin Steen moment where I took a cup and I bounced it on the wall. I was 17, almost a legal adult. So I mean, him getting to work his idol, that's something. Whether it's
amazing.
a match, Raw, whatever the KO show,
Whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
It'll be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great because I love when people who are matched up with the people that they grew up with.
Yep.
And
Sean
Get to
Jarrett.
have that moment.
that's just like, ooh.
Becky and Lita.
Yeah.
I mean, that moment. Oh my god.
Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
Sure. Cool.
Next up, Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. Now,
This
like
is going to
we
be
said,
fun.
This is gonna be
Another
fun.
fun one.
if McAfee sells,
If McAfee
Who
fucking
gives a
sells,
shit? Fuck
I
that.
do.
It doesn't
I
matter.
do.
care.
I can't
I
be
care.
sells.
It's still going to be fun.
It's still real to me, damn it.
I give it.
I honestly think Austin Theory should go over though.
Yeah,
I think so too.
yeah,
I think so
Because
too.
this
probably.
kid, my
Fuck
god,
finish.
he has
Fuck
the
finish.
it
So.
factor. Just a bit of a bigger push. And my god, he's gonna be the next big star in the next couple of years.
Not only that, but you could build on that. You could build on. You can continue that story going into SummerSlam as well. You know,
Yeah.
you
Good.
Yeah. You can still have Vince be a pain in the ass to McAfee. You know,
Yeah.
give it the blow off, and then have Shane show up and the blow off tag matches. Austin and Vince. Vince is not getting the ring. Vince does not bump or do nothing against Shane and McAfee.
Ooh.
That would be
McAfee
interesting.
off a commentary.
Actually, if we're long-term booking here, if we go with that, who will Vince pull out? He has Austin Theory and Vince against Shane and Pat McAfee. Vince comes out and says, I will not be wrestling this match. I'd like to introduce MJF!
My grandson.
My grandson, MJF!
Oh,
Actually,
God.
that goes into another news story that happened this week. MJF announcing he will not sign an extension with AEW. He's going to let his contract expire and start a bidding war because he knows his value.
I ain't signing
Before it.
shit.
Nope.
Yeah.
Best
It's
offer
nothing
wins.
to matter.
He was partially in character, but he knows his value, and everyone now wants that CM Punk money.
Right.
That's why Cody's doing it.
That's why Cody left.
Not everyone can get CM Punk money.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Tony Khan,
Khan
he's set a bad precedent. Set a bad
Tony
business
Khan
precedent
wrote
when
a
he did that. So
he wrote a fat paycheck to get Punk out of retirement, create a big, huge moment. But with that, I think he kind of dug himself in a hole because now we're going back to the WCW late 1990s where Nash and Hall.
Nash and Hall.
I want what that guy was making.
Yep. Favorite nation.
You got guys from AEW whose value are growing. MJF for starters. Wardlow is like the new Sid Vicious. Wardlow is massively over now. He's a Vince McMahon guy too. He's got that body. He's got that look. Okay, and he's getting over, and he knows his value, and his merch is moving. So when contract time is up, Tony Khan's gonna be like, I don't know, is he gonna be able to afford to pay? Of course, he's gonna be able to afford to pay these guys with his money, but
he has a budget because of all of his other stuff, plus another wrestling promotion on top of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's the thing. It's going to be interesting in the next because actually I heard MJF's got about a year and a half left in his contract.
Yeah, isn't it like 1/1/24? January 1st, 2024 is when it's up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Royal Rumble winner,
MJF.
Because that will be WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
Ooh, right there.
And that's going to likely be in New York, and that's MJF. Yeah. And let's be honest, and our good friend me and Scott's friend Rich Corio from Three Fat Nerds podcast, and we talked about this because here's a lot of things that newer fans and a lot of the enthusiastic AEW, like I don't mean general wrestling fans, I mean the fans who like only watch AEW and shit. They seem to have forgotten these guys are not fully committed to one company. These guys, they're committed to themselves, and they will go with the highest bidder. Okay.
Yep.
MJF has made it clear working WrestleMania and wrestling for the WWE has been a lifelong dream, and that comes to that analogy. It's just like in baseball, everyone wants to play for the Yankees. It's the biggest company in the world. It has the best paychecks. Okay. WrestleMania is at the plateau of it's the pinnacle of the wrestling business. It's the Capitol Records. Okay, AEW is not going to go away and die. I don't think it's going to. But people need to stop focusing on AEW being the WWE killer because it's not going to be.
Nope.
Let it keep doing what it's doing, and it should be able to stay afloat. Yep. Okay, don't worry about. But guys are coming and going. And here's the thing: Vince McMahon is smart because he's building guys like Braun Breaker up, and Braun Breaker and Nikita Lyons and all them. He's investing in his future because he's building stars because he knows he knows these guys come and go.
Yep.
He knows these guys
always
are going to
want
to try. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He knows that these guys are going to want to leave and test out AEW or New Japan or stuff like that. So, and Tony Khan, in a way, I guess, is doing the same thing. He's is he doing it as well as Vince? I don't know. Vince is the creator.
I'll answer that. No. Okay. I'll answer that question. No, he's not. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I really can't see a guy right now. I can't see a guy like Wheeler Yuta or Daniel Garcia being the face of the company.
Not yet. No. Not yet. Long way from that. So what else we got on the WrestleMania card?
Yeah, we just went on a massive tangent.
Yeah, we did. So we got to finish this up here. We're getting late.
So, next up, the triple threat for the Raw tag titles, RK Bro, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. I say give it back to Alpha Academy.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Alpha.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping, I doubt we're going to, but I'm hoping we get a match that lives up to that Monday Night Raw triple threat tag that we just got to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, that RKO.
Oh. Yeah.
Awesome.
The moonsault, yep.
Yeah. Now we get to Edge AJ Styles, the match I think that's going to
steal the show
the whole entire weekend.
Yep.
I say Edge goes over here.
If they're going into a program, yes. But if this is a one and done and Edge takes another break, I don't know.
At the same time, they just turned him heel, gave him a new character, new theme. How could you have him lose if you're doing that? I mean, if it wasn't a heel turn, if it was a babyface program, I would have said AJ would have won. But since they're doing this,
AJ goes over, and Edge gets his heat back right after the match.
That's true, but I'm still I'm going to say Edge. Safe bet. I'm going Edge.
Yeah, I'm going Edge.
But either way, this match is going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really good.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
And then the main event of all main events. Winner take all, unify the two world
The only
titles.
one.
Finally, Brock Roman should be this. I actually think this is going to be a great match. I think this will probably be the best match these two will ever have. I'm going to go.
And it
Roman.
should be their last match they ever have.
Ever have.
Yeah,
yes.
this could be
And I say Roman goes
final
over
batch.
here.
Would you
Yeah, I think
have the
Roman.
new world title there? And the winner
No.
gets the new
Next night.
design.
Next night on Raw. Next night on Raw.
And make
You
it look
think?
cool. Don't make it look like a giant Jolly Rancher.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, make it like I don't know who brought it up, but make it gold, like the color
Yeah,
gold.
because everything
but-
he touches turns to gold.
The gold. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah. The gold championship. Undisputed WWE championship. Boom.
Undisputed
There you go.
World
67.
Heavyweight Championship.
And
Yeah.
Roman goes over.
Nice looking belt.
Yeah,
Put
Roman.
wings on it, too. Put wings on
Just
it.
based on the history, Roman has
Yeah.
never beaten Brock at WrestleMania. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is the one.
Because let's be honest, WWE belts look like shit. They do. They look
They
stupid. They
do.
look like toys.
Yeah.
Okay. The AEW World Title looks like a fucking belt. I will give it that. It looks like the IWGP title. It looks like a true, tried and true belt. The women's title in AEW looks really good too. The new one looks great too.
Yeah,
So,
the Mid-South North American title basis for it. Yep.
Mhm.
Wow.
But
here's
yeah.
another thing, real quick. Here's another thing, real quick. Since we're going on the subject, if he shows up, Cody, what do we do with him going forward? Everyone's like, oh, he's going to be Stardust again in 6 months. I don't
No.
think so. I
I
think
know.
they have big.
I have
No.
thought of this idea. You have Cody win Money in the Bank. You have that UK pay-per-view. Have Drew and Roman, where Drew wins the belt and Cody cashes in
Ooh.
and turns.
Wow.
See, that's the one
Hmm.
thing Vince is going to do that Cody Khan couldn't convince Cody to do. He's going to get Cody to turn. Because that's the thing. Vince
Turn
has
heel.
a way with people. He does. He's
He
going to
does.
get Cody to turn heel.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you-
we went through
the
it,
heat.
why is he doing it here?
Oh yeah, the heat
and,
that
and
Cody would get.
the fucking
heat.
heat in the UK
Would be
Yeah.
massive.
catching in on Drew.
Mhm.
And then
American
you've got a
Nightmare.
program going forward.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think this is good. I don't think this is going to be some type of schlep run. This is a guy who got up and left the company he helped build.
Help start. He was the catalyst for the start of this company. It was
He
him.
was the company's biggest cheerleader.
Yep.
You know,
He went out of the independents, made a huge name for himself. Ring of
Yep.
Honor, every indie promotion, New Japan, everything else.
Yep.
It was all set. It wasn't really the Bucks or Kenny because they were in Japan. They were not over in the States as much as people think they were. It was Cody who was the intricate start of AEW.
And
with
quite
them all becoming
frankly,
friends.
you've got a match for next year's WrestleMania in Cody and Drew,
You got it.
Yep.
where
And-
Drew gets the moment in front of the fans at a WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And then
bet
you-
with
and
the way
then
the fans
conceivably-
were Cody, the way the fans were going off on Cody and AEW, some feelers went to Vince. Vince is like, I could put the belt on this guy and possibly have a heel just as big as Roman, if not bigger.
Because
Yeah.
you could conceivably have a year later, WrestleMania 40, Cody MJF.
Ooh.
The
Yeah.
storyline or WrestleMania 40,
WWE will take
Cody-
our royalty money, please.
Yes.
Cody
Yeah.
MJF, and for your co-main event, night 2 or night 1, Roman Reigns, John Moxley.
Oh.
Ooh.
Because
Mhm.
Moxley will be back.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's coming
He
back.
will.
Absolutely.
He'll come back.
When his contract is up,
Back he goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He'll come back
He's gonna-
eventually.
He's like, hey, I
He'll
heard you
find
guys
out.
are
Yes, he will. Yes, he
You guys are
will.
making a lot of money. You guys are making a lot of. I want some of that money, Vince. Yeah. I want some of that money.
it's like,
we
I'm
saw
a
that-
family now, I want money. Hey,
Again, we'll take our royalty checks right now in advance, Vince. Could you please make it up to I don't know.
cash.
Cash.
Yeah.
All $1 bills.
Just so
I
we
mean,
can
that's-
just make snow
A
angels
lot of
and
people
cash.
And as a bonus, throw Nikita Lyons with me, please. I'll gladly appreciate that.
A lot of
He always
people
wants
scoff
to
at-
kill him.
Now you're asking too much.
Yeah, a little too
a lot of
much
people
there.
scoff at the idea of Moxley going back, but fucking Cody just went back.
Yep.
That
So there's your forbidden door, people.
Yeah.
Because the forbidden door is laid out with gold.
But, ladies and gentlemen,
And
that's
it-
going to do it
Well,
for
with that,
this.
we got to say goodnight.
With
This is
that,
way
Yeah.
too fucking long.
Yeah, we
Dude,
went
we are
almost
2.5
3
hours in.
Almost 3
Mhm.
hours. The longest episode we've ever done. Holy balls.
Yep. We're officially longer than when me and Levi rebooked the invasion.
Yes.
Well,
No,
Man.
I think,
Which that's an
I
achievement.
think, yeah. And with Levi with the Horseman thing is like around there, the longest episodes.
Around this time,
More or
yeah.
less.
I think we may have gotten a 3-hour episode once. I'd
Oh,
have to
with the
look back.
Horseman, yeah, definitely
With
more
Horseman,
than once.
But with that said, before we go, quick announcements. We have not talked about this yet. So the schedule we got for April, we're not going to be here next weekend because it's WrestleMania and we didn't have
WrestleMania.
time to be on here.
Mhm.
So we'll be back on April 9th in 2 weeks. And our schedule right now, we have for April 9th, excuse me, April 9th, we're talking WCW Spring Stampede 1994, the first Spring Stampede pay-per-view. The week after that, we're going to be starting the first of 3 John Cena-oriented top 10s because we're approaching 20 years of Cena. So for April, on the 16th, we're doing top 10 one-on-one John Cena matches. And then in May, we're going to do top 10 worst John Cena matches. And then in June, top 10 John Cena feuds. So that's going to be a theme for the next few months involving Cena with top 10 lists. 23rd, we're going to be doing WWF Backlash 2000, aka what should have been WrestleMania 16 for the most part. And then to round off, an interesting superstar profile episode. Because for some random reason, I was skimming through a bunch of Raw episodes from 04 and 05. I'm up to February 28th, 05, where we're going to be covering Edge's road to his first WWE title reign from the moment he came back at the draft in March of 04 through to his cash-in at New Year's Revolution 2006. When he came back, got the IC title, getting booed in his hometown, turn heel, goes psycho, becomes Money in the Bank, the Edge lead a Matt Hardy shit, and then to the cash-in. So that's going to be a fun little thing to talk about. So that's April schedule. May, we're going to work on that a little bit here eventually because early May, 2-year anniversary, and we are approaching
Heroes of
episode
Wrestling.
100.
It was
Beach
wrestling.
Brawl.
Beach Brawl.
Beach Brawl. You
Here's
know,
wrestling.
Beach Brawl. Here's
One
wrestling.
one word only. He was wrestling.
Rebooking Heroes of Wrestling.
Rebooking Heroes of Wrestling, yes.
We already-
Rebooking.
Actually, didn't we watch that with Steve? And we reviewed that? I think we did. Heroes of Wrestling?
I don't
Oh, we did watch it, but we got booted off YouTube.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think Steve was here for
I
that,
was
but yeah.
there.
Yes, yeah. So,
It's not there.
but yeah, we're gonna rebook Heroes of Wrestling, but we are gonna watch UWF Beach Brawl. That is a happening,
Oh, God.
undeniable.
Oh, it's Blackjack Brawl. That's what every match is a title match.
Yes.
Johnny Ace won a belt.
Mm-hmm.
The
Figure
only
it out.
But with all that said, plug time before we go. James.
You can find me on my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I'm going to be finishing my WrestleMania season this coming Friday at the 15th anniversary of a show that I was there for, WrestleMania 23. So subscribe and follow me on Twitter at WAPW_wrestling.
Scott.
As Walter does his anus impersonation, he just needs a candy bar to spit out there.
Yes.
Headless
yes.
Horseman. I'm the
There
Headless
you go.
Horseman.
Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
Nice, perfect. Good. It's Ghost Walter. All right, find me on my YouTube channel. It's Mr. Scott. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram under It's Mr. Scott. You find me on TikTok under It's Mr. Scott, although I hardly do TikTok. You also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/It's Mr. Scott, where I jam out and have a good time on there. I cut promos, I do voices, I play bass. I have a lot of fun there. Check out my TeePublic merch store where you can get yourself some official Mr. Scott merchandise. I've got this and one other design on there too. You can check that out, please. Right now, stuff is on sale, but not for much longer, so grab some stuff now while you can. And also you find me and the Headless Horseman over here as not part of the Horseman podcast, but part of a different podcast. Take it, Walt.
Woo! Yes, you can find me and Mr. Scott and our friends Token Tom Clark, Skip Novak, and Sergeant Fury Dan Roberts for the Necrocasticon, where we talk the best in horror and metal. It's a spooky tool.
Oh, Ricky.
You can find me on my YouTube channel at Horror Master, where I'm almost done doing my rank on Judas Priest. That list has been killing me the past couple of weeks. You can find me on my Twitter at HorrorMaster18. You can find me on my Instagram at RC Carman Metal God. And last, you can find me on Libba's channel at the Horseman Podcast, which we will eventually do either the thing with Gunner or with
James.
Yes, or we're gonna rewrite the top 20 heavy metal songs from Watch Mojo. Which, spoiler alert, it's gonna be better than their list.
Steve?
All right, hold on. Let me pull out my dossier. So let me see.
Yeah. It's going to be a long one.
I wonder what I'm going to promote. I got a lot of promotes, hence why I have this notebook here. So follow this bad boy, Mesa Media, at Mesa Media 1 on Twitter, Mesa Media 1 on Facebook, Mesa Media 1 on TikTok. Yes, I am on TikTok. I have finally hit my stride. You can also check me out at my Instagram at smesa85. What else do I got? I got a shirt store at whatamaneuver.net. So if you want to go get a Mesa Media shirt, the best thing besides hollering at your boy and asking for a shirt, the next best thing would be to go on whatamaneuver.com. And that is it because I just ran out of material right now, and I'm tapping out.
Steve, thank you so much for joining us this week, man. It's been great seeing you and hanging out again, man.
Yes. I hope
we will have you back
at some point.
We will have you back, absolutely.
And then finally, for those who haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, ThrashManiac99. I finally hit 3,300 subs the other day, so almost to 3,500, which that journey starts soon. But as far as what's been up lately, well, Thursday I did the Dark Throne discography ranking of all 19 albums, if you can believe that. As far as what's coming up, tomorrow I plan on reviewing the new Abath album, but already I can tell it's probably not going to be a good experience because I've heard people say it's bad. So yeah, it's going to be a dreadful time, pun for the album title, Dread Reaver. Then another review on Monday or something, but also tomorrow night over at Metal Ben Chronicles channel is the finale of this season of Master of Metallum, where a bunch of guys, including Necrotic Nick from Thralls of Metal and Mean Metal Mike and Just Joshin and a couple other people, compete to win a special prize courtesy of me. So tomorrow night's the finale, and I already know Nick is going to win. He's ran away with it. He's almost to 100 points, for fuck's sake.
I mean, the guy has a shitload of CDs, more
almost
than you
10,000. So yeah. Yeah, and believe it or not, Scott, he's only 4 years younger than you.
Wow.
So he's been around for a while buying shit. But I digress. So, yeah, and then as far as what's coming up, yeah, the Abath review tomorrow, if I can remember. And then maybe another review on Monday, and maybe an Under the Radar episode. And then after that, we'll see. But you can follow me on Instagram at ThrashManiac_YT. And finally, follow and or subscribe to me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99. I promise I'll be getting back to gaming streams soon. It's just, whenever I was trying to stream Gran Turismo 7, update happened, so it's like, well, what the fuck do I do now? You know? But that's all on that. But until then, for the Shadow Kvlt, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And until then, horns high, and we'll see you in the next one. Jackasses.
It's Mania.